This being, I wonder if it goes right
We're
to live
on,
stream.
B. We're live, just so you know.
You could see it like on YouTube.
It gave me a notification that said we're live. I haven't tried looking at YouTube, but
All right. No, I think we are live. There is a delay,
No,
but
it says waiting.
yeah,
it
we're
does?
live.
Oh, never mind.
Oh, echo. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the first live broadcast of the best darn show on the internet. That's the Over Sharon show. And if I could find the right screen, I'd be happy. All right. Today we have a guest with us, Adam, who you all know and love, because I know everybody here has watched every single episode of the Over Sharon show, just like a little little Over Sharon night. If you haven't seen an episode of Adam, why don't I let my great co-host Sharon give a little introduction?
So I met Adam through Zen Garcia's channel, and that was in late 2019. So 2021. It is literally going on 3 years that I've known Adam, and it's mind-boggling to me. It's just time has flown by so quickly.
Quite the journey.
Yeah, and we were in it, like I created a little group chat for us, and where I had people that I felt like were like-minded, and so I felt like we could all share things and talk about things without judgment of each other, and we would just be open. And that's what we did. We started questioning a lot of things that were taboo to question. And here we are 3 years later, way far away from where we started, but in a good way.
I'd say we were step in the unveiling of truth and knowledge from day one.
Yeah.
Well, from Zen's channel.
Yeah.
For the 3 years. So it's been good to be able to have a check and balance of like, is this real? Can I test this? Hey, what do you think about this, Sharon? And she's like, I think you're onto something, or vice versa. So it's been real good. And then we I stumbled onto Brandon. I think Sharon shared me something with him. It was who's that Mexican guy? He's not Mexican. I think he lives down in Mexico. Had the big poofy hair. He was a guest star. Brandon, your co-host, was female, and he does like zodiac readings.
He's British.
Philip.
Yeah, I watched that, and I was just like, that Brandon guy needs to talk up more. He's funny. But I liked Philip because I was following him, because I was following Santos Bonacci, and so Santos, Philip, and then Brandon, and then it's like, and then I think it was the next day Sharon was like, hey, go watch this or talk. So it was another sync that we both found Brandon like the same week or something. So now Brandon's part of the crew, or vice versa. It's great.
Yeah. That's so crazy how that happened. I was with Ashley. It was a terrible. You can go to terrible.com. It was a terrible episode, and we had him on as a guest. And that's how I found him too.
Atrocious episode. I'm just kidding.
It was terrible. I found him
terrible
also through Santos Bonacci, just like Adam did. And I went with Adam actually in January. I went to his homestead down in South Carolina from Connecticut, where I'm from. And then we traveled up, met some friends in Alabama. Spoons was there, Philip, and she had her RV. And then we went up to Colorado, met our good friends of Warlock, Cass, and family.
Oh, that was so much fun.
Yeah. And then we went to Sedona and met up with Sharon, Michelle family.
That was even more fun.
Yeah, it was just dude, it was crazy. It was like a Saturday and a Sunday. You know how like you ever have, you had a job and you worked Monday through Friday and it just was like sucked the life out of you.
Yeah.
You had Saturday and Sunday. Well, I feel like that's what it was like for me. Colorado was Saturday and Sedona was Sunday. Like they were just two awesome, great days, But the travel, the journey there was really awesome too. I mean, the whole thing was awesome. Oh, Laura's in the chat. Hey, Laura.
Yeah, I saw Laura in the chat. I'm trying to look at my
shout out to Laura.
Yeah, that's how you and I, Brandon, discovered Grounded Extract. He was on Crow that week prior, and then we were streaming him either the way there and the way back. That was the first time we heard it. We may have listened to it twice. It was just so off the chain. He was talking about Iboga, and yeah, that was a good trip. It was a good trip.
Yeah, well, we had a good trip too on Friday night. Whew.
and a good trip more.
I was just remembering that yesterday.
Mine was like
Or the day
Friday night, then
before.
I just stayed up all night, and it was Saturday morning too. Oh man, I haven't stayed up all night like in
You were
years.
tripping, bro.
Yeah, it was great though.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna read my
have a
quote
quote?
now. I think it's a good time if I could figure out why you gotta move everything? How do I
I don't
share?
know.
Oh, here it
I
is.
feel like I might raise my desk here in a second.
Okay. Yeah, that's
But
fine. I'm gonna
do
pull
your
up
thing.
the
Do
I'm
your
gonna pull
thing.
up the quote anyway. So here we go, and boom. And here we go. Is the quote. Our faces were covering it for a second. There is no need for new revelation, but there is every need for the explanation of the old revelations and the undeniable facts of human experience. And that was by J.R.S. Mead in 1892. And of course, I got it from the great Jason Brashears at Archaics. He has a video all about his favorite quotes. So if you're not a fan of his, go check him out. You can check him out at archaics.com or Archaics on YouTube. Archaics. All right.
I feel like I'm super zoomed in now. Am I super zoomed now? I'm super zoomed in.
Zoom, a zoom, zoom, and a zoom, zoom.
Is there a way to pop out the chat so it's like separate window? Oh, look at that. There is.
Yeah.
On YouTube?
Found it.
On your desktop?
Yeah.
Oh.
So now I don't have to have the
I should do
the
that.
browser.
Great
Sweet.
idea.
Of course,
out
it's a
chat.
great idea.
Pop it out. I thought you were talking about the chat here at Zoom. Wow. Man, you really are smarter than you look at them. Guys love to bust each other's balls. It's part of the whole, it's all love. But so more about me. No. So today we have a couple of loose notes, but stuff that we've basically been talking about a lot of this stuff on our show over the course of the last year that we've been doing the Oversharing show now. That's right. We're not a freshman show anymore, guys. We have moved up and on. We are in our sophomore phase. But so it's a lot of stuff that we've been talking about and touching on, but this is something because of the date that we wanted to bring up, especially what Owen, one of our favorite streamers, has been talking about lately with Trunk and what he might be responsible for. Have you seen any of those streams, Adam?
Yeah. It's I started sharing it with another buddy of mine who's a big truth movement guy, and we're step in step the whole way. We're basically brothers from another mother. And we were at his beach house this weekend, Kate and I, and just kind of chilling on the boat. And so I dropped this on him about you can say whatever you want, but I said this to him about Trunk, what he might allegedly be responsible for. He's just like, that seems far-fetched. And I'm like, really? That's surprising coming from you. So I threw him some stuff, and I'm like, there's something here. Go dig into it. But it's fascinating.
I believe there's something there. And I think if you're listening to this, you should go, slow-mo moon buggy. I can't talk.
Barley
In the
Mob.
chat. Marley Bob, he said, I broke myself away from the IG 9/11 meme fest to watch this. Yeah, I can't even go. Like, listen, I understand I get the funny stuff, but it's been 21 years. The past 3 years were cool, but this year I go on and I'm just like, except for there's a few that are really funny. The ones that kind of maybe it's just because it's confirmation bias, but the ones that like Owen and some of the Bears are posting about Trunk. And some of that stuff's interesting, but all the other ones, they're just like, we're like, yeah, we get it by now. It's like.
But there's also a thing, I know it's at least with Reddit, that you're not allowed to make fun about something or make a meme about something until 20 years have passed. So it wasn't until I guess when the 20th year happened last year, people for 9/11 were on Reddit were just posting everything about Tiananmen Square instead, just as kind of like a wink, like, hey, now we can post memes and not get flagged for anything on this date. We're going to post something else instead. Well, all that stuff got deleted, but it was pretty comical.
Uncle Trunk spilled the steel beams.
Don't spill the beams.
That is hilarious, man. Ooh, we got somebody. Gigi Abby Lynn is from Connecticut also, but she's living in Florida now. What part of Florida? I have friends in Daytona that are pretty cool. As a matter of fact, speaking of that trip, when I was getting to the tail end of it, I was like, I was in South Carolina and I didn't want to come back to Connecticut. I'm like, I still have some money to waste. Let's do this. So I hit up my friends in Florida. But see, the thing is, I don't know, because I haven't really talked to them a lot since 2020. So I don't know what side of the fence they're on, we'll say. And I found out real quick they're on our side of the fence, at least with the experimental medical serum, because they're like, yo, just so, and I'm like, you guys must know I'm not, because you've seen my Facebook. But of course, I was more vocal. So yeah, we got along famously down there. It was great.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and they own 2 CBD businesses, which is pretty cool. So that was really fun. But yeah, they're in Daytona, that area. Yeah, Uncle Trunk spilled the steel beams. That's hilarious. So I think that about covers that. So I think we're going to talk a little bit about Uncle Trunk, but not about his culpability in a certain national tragedy.
No. We're going to talk about how and why.
And I'll just say this really quick too, because there's some people who just think it's all fake. And I think, yeah, a lot less people probably perished than they said, and maybe the buildings were empty. But I know for a fact that people did perish, because I know people really well that know people that perished because they're from that area and stuff. So I think it was mostly the first responders though.
Right.
So I think that, that's kind of messed up. But at the end of the day, though, they were given an honorable death, so I know it's terrible that they died, and I don't want to sound insensitive, but for somebody who's a first responder, that's close to like the warrior class, I guess you would say these days, people that rush into trouble to help other people. And if they died doing that, I'm sure they went to a much an elevated place. They were definitely given some rewards for that. So that's how I feel about that. But yeah, I just wanted to share that before we started this whole thing, just a little caveat, because some people think everything's fake, and I get it, man. It would seem that way sometimes. So, but yeah. So anyway, Uncle Trunk. Now, we've noticed recently that, hang on a second. We've noticed recently that Uncle Trunk, that there's been like, I will just say Owen, right, when he went at him originally, because I think what happened was he was talking about Trump, people who still support him, and like, how could you still support him after all this stuff? And some people, like mostly 1 or 2 people in the chat, started to spiral a little bit. And I think it's worth looking into what the fascination is, because I understand, there's like the right left paradigm, and a lot of people feel like it's one way or the other. But a lot of the people that are lining up behind Trunk are all the people who are like anti-experimental serum and all that stuff. They're just political. They also believe more rights and like Second Amendment and all this stuff. But they just, I guess, feel like they have to rally behind them. So what I always say to people like them, and I'm probably going to say it less now or maybe more, it depends if I'm busting balls or not, but it's like, because my uncle, I think I told the story, he asked me if I was going to vote for Trunk, and I was like, yeah, as soon as I get my bump stock back. Like,
yeah.
And what we mean is a bump stock is part of it's like something you could use an AR-15 to make it so it's like fully automatic kind of, but not really. It's like not like a loophole, but basically it takes the automatic fire part out of the mechanism inside the weapon and puts it into the stock. So you're just kind of using some trick to whatever, but it's still, I've heard it fire. It sounds pretty much like automatic gunfire. Not what we heard in Las Vegas though, but anyway, it's another story. That was like big time, trust me. But so I was saying that to him because if you think about it, Trump is like one of the only presidents that's a Republican that passed some stuff like that, right? That kind of appease the other side. And even though it's not like I didn't have a bump stock, really, it's just a joke. I think it's kind of a waste, automatic gunfire. I learned a lot when I was in the Marine Corps. I'll just put it this way, so somebody doesn't think I'm like a dissident. And semi-automatic is way more effective, especially for like a grunt or whatever, somebody doing stuff. Fully automatic is kind of a waste. Like it's just called spray and pray. It's really only effective on like a helicopter or like a tank or something. You don't want to have it anyway, or in a bigger caliber. So so I said that to my uncle. I'm like, yeah, sure, as soon as I get my bump stock back. And he just really kind of spiraled. And now this is really before he was supporting the experimental medical serum. So I think once Trump got behind that and said that he took it himself and was like pushing it, kind of like he looked like a salesman for it for a little while, that's when it really also was like, all right, here's another line that he totally crossed. I know people that support him that don't even know that. Like a lot of times I'll bring that up and they're like, what? And I'm like, yeah, look it up. So, but there's still some people who know this and will still like they're his hero, basically, you know, he's their hero. So that's what we want to talk about. So what do you think, Sharon? I've been talking a lot, so I'm going to bring it over to you.
Oh,
And we're live,
well,
so don't, no pressure.
yeah, no pressure. The reason we wanted to bring this up is just to talk about a topic that we kind of talk about relatively often. And it's this, I don't know that we have a name for the topic, but it's like, we're just calling it like needing a daddy, or like needing a savior, or needing someone external to yourself to save you from something.
Yep.
So that's why we wanted to bring up this topic. And so there are lots of people out there that went for the Q stuff, that went for the trunky stuff, and they do it so they can someone else can do what they should be doing themselves, and
Right.
someone else can do the job for them, and they can feel like they don't need to do anything. It's like, it's very victim-y, but they don't realize that it's victim-y,
Yeah, for sure. Really quickly, Olive Tree Bear's in the chat right now.
What's up?
What's up, Alex? All the way in Greece right now.
Yes. Yo, Alex.
Greece, what are you partying for 9/11 in Greece? How dare you, Olive Tree Bear? How dare you? All right.
I know. How dare you
And
party without Brandon?
Slow-Mo Moonbuggy said he knew a guy who worked for Cantor Fitzgerald Investment Agency that allegedly died. And he said Cantor Fitzgerald worked almost exclusively for the Federal Reserve. Ooh, that's crazy. Yeah, I'm
That's
sure some
interesting.
people that were in that got killed too. You got, like, I think they look at it as, you got to break a few eggs to make an omelet or whatever. So yeah, I don't know, but I like what you're saying though, Sharon, about the victim thing. And the way we've looked into it, like people like Michael Tessarion and stuff will talk about it, is that it comes a lot from trauma, not only as a child that you get affected by this trauma, but also an ancestral trauma that some of us that we've experienced somehow. He looks at it because he thinks we're on a spinning ball. So he looks at it as there was a comet that struck us and life just became miserable on planet Earth. So it was like this meager existence that people crawl through, and they had to, their consciousness basically split to deal with it, right? So we're still dealing with that. Now, if you look at it through the lens of archaics, you could say maybe it was a Phoenix phenomenon or that flood thing that happened, right? And it caused this condition among humans. So I think it's just passed down. And I think there's some people that know about it, probably at the top of these institutions of government and control, and they know this, and they're the slave masters because of this. Because basically we're just exhibiting the behavior of a slave. How do you make a slave? Like, how does somebody, and obviously we're not thinking about, most people, when you say slave, they think about antebellum slavery and a whip and stuff. I'm talking about like classic slavery. Like I know people that have people as slaves, and they're people that work for them, and they pay them dirt cheap and they treat them like crap. But it's because that person is
willing
just
to
kind of
take
like a
the crap.
broken person, like they're an ex-alcoholic. They have a terrible, this is somebody I know, and he's a nice guy. And I'll hang out with him, and I'll talk to him once in a while. Like, he's an older guy, but he works for this other guy who's kind of like driving him like a slave, because so anyway, he's an ex-alcoholic, and I don't know the rest of his past, but I know he has like a really kind of low self-esteem because of it. Like, he feels like a piece of crap. So he's allowed himself that. So if you notice a whole civilization doing that, I think there's people that pass this knowledge down somehow, and they figure out a way to benefit from it, really, at the end of the day. What do you
Yeah,
think, Adam?
it comes down to, self-reliance or relying on others. And I was just listening to Crow today. I finished his last one, which had Big Sip on there. And I haven't been listening to Crow for a while, and I've been really avoiding the law ones just because it's just been weird. But I like Big Sip, so I listened to it, and man, it was great. He did like 70-80% of the talking, and that's what I like. And then I listened to a little bit of Saint Germain. I'm tying them both in. Saint Germain was really talking about like pre-education, like 1930, what it was like before 1930, and then from like the 1700s leading up to that. And he starts talking about like these different periods of time where there was like the Enlightened Ages and the Dark Ages, and then the 1700s were like a really high Enlightened age, where the average man and their education, when you had your children, you're responsible for teaching them and educating them and making sure that they can they know the 7 liberal arts of the trivium and the quadrivium, and basically like all kids could do the grammar part up till like about 6th grade, what we'd call 6th grade. And then unless you had money and could pay for it, came from a wealth family, then you could go on to what we call middle school or high school to start learning written words, written English. But all that to say is that in those time periods, all peoples were responsible for themselves. They took care of themselves. They took care of their communities. So when they actually went to go vote for somebody, it wasn't like, are you going to go vote for Republican or blue or red? It was, just following what you're told to do. And those are the only 2 options. No, it was like, I know Bob the farmer down the road is a stand-up guy, and he's really good for that. And they rally the community together. And yeah, that would be good for that. And so when they cast their vote, it's not just for self, but it's for the community. So he's explaining that, pre that time period, everyone took responsibility for themselves. So there was no like savior complex, because you're responsible for your own actions. So now that when government came in to start changing the school systems, they mirrored a school system that looked like the 7 liberal arts, and it was cheaper. And now all kids could go through all the classes of liberal arts and didn't have to have like the wealth to be paid, or to have the wealthy family to go on to those higher educations, to have the great learned men discerning their wisdom to people. Now you have the government and their systems, and he said it was fine. But then once you get in the doorstep, then you start make changes. And now most people are reliant for food, they're reliant for electricity, they're reliant for all these things. So it's basically, I need someone else to take care of me. Someone else is going to do something. When then you can start slipping in other ideas and, religion ideas and political ideas. And, you create this savior complex. This has been working on decades ago, pre-World War I. So it's a long game, but I just don't see things linear. And I know that's part of Tessarian's thing. Anyone that thinks that the world's a globe thinks of in a linear time span. There was this, and then it's just going to keep going. But if you think of things in an enclosed terrestrial field, then you think of things in a repeatable pattern. It's cyclical. And so when you start seeing things from that point of view, you can actually pull back from the quote unquote timeline and start seeing patterns and seeing things. And then I think those enlightened people in those time periods that were self-aware could see that point of view. They saw truth, and they could see when people were trying to be manipulative, or the ego or the id comes out and pops out. And I think this is the time period now where, we are in an enlightenment period where we have this limited opportunity to use this digital internet to grab quick information and discern what's true and what's not. I don't know how long that window is going to last, but take advantage of it, get your books, get information. All that to say, the savior complex it goes back, decades, hundreds of years. And I think that's just embedded in to the culture now, and they don't even know it.
Well, yeah, look at the artwork of the culture, which would be what, Hollywood movies, in the comics and stuff. It's constant superhero stuff, right? Everybody wants Superman to save the day, or Iron Man, or Captain Retard. Ooh, did I say that? Hi, I'm Captain Retard, and I'm here to save the world.
Woiled.
South Park made this character called Captain Obvious.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go into it, but it's pretty funny. It's just a guy that comes in after an event unfolds, and this guy, Captain Obvious, comes in and says, "Oh, well, the reason that the building's burning is because that ladder up there isn't regulations, and that drill up there isn't, has been working in 2 years." And meanwhile, there's just people burning in the buildings, and everyone's like, "Yay, thank you, Captain Obvious, you saved the day again." And everyone just leaves while everyone's just burning in the building. It's like, it takes people I don't know if you can say Sandy Hook, but I just did.
Handy
Things
Sook.
things like that. Handy Sook. People, Captain Obvious can come in, but they kind of like squash Captain Obvious. Like, get out of here, get out of here. We control the media.
Listen, if you go to the beach and you got a hook, it's going to get sandy. What
It's
are
gonna
you
get
gonna
sandy.
do?
Yeah, what
I
are you
went to
talking
the
about?
beach with my hook.
I like to fish.
Yeah. Welcome to Cody. Just got here. I mentioned Olive Tree Bear already, and who else jumped in?
Mighty
We got
Mouse
Rocky
is gonna
Shepherd.
save
He
the
said the
day,
R word.
Alex says.
What's that?
I
Who's
said
Del
Alex
Pax?
said Del is Cody.
Oh, hey Cody.
Yeah. And Olive Tree Bear said, Mighty Mouse is gonna save the day. Here I come to save the day.
Here
Mhm.
I come. Yeah, right. What was that? Who's that comedian that did that?
I don't know.
Everyone keeps talking about Man on the Moon guy.
Oh yeah, Andy
Kaufman.
Warhol.
Yeah, Kaufman.
Andy Kaufman. He was a
Kaufman, one
stand-up
of those.
comedian, and some people came to see him in the show. And my friend was telling me for this entire show, he just put the Mighty Mouse record on. He was like, "Here I come to save the day," and he just like acted it out for like 20 or 30 minutes or something. I don't know the whole story, but it was a long time. And
That's
people were just
bizarre.
like, "What the hell?" Yeah, he would just troll people.
Yeah, that bit made it into the Truman's movie, or not Truman's movie.
Truman Show.
Yeah, the Truman Show. Man on the
Oh
Moon.
no, Man on the Moon. Ooh, good topic.
Which is interesting, and I think I want to do there's many things I want to do, but almost every Jim Carrey movie that he's ever been in has a wink to flat Earth or the moon or something to that effect. All of them, even like Dumb and Dumber, which is a great movie. He's leaving the bar and there's a little sign on there that's we land on the moon. It's like the original newspaper clipping from back whenever they were doing that. And he's like, we landed on the moon? No way. And so it's just kind of like he does these bits all on and on. I just think that's interesting.
Yeah. And
He knows.
He knows stuff. He's been on interviews where wasn't he interviewed by Norm Macdonald,
Yeah.
and he tells them about like what like the 33 vertebrae represents. The 30, the number 33 is important because of all these things, right?
Yeah, the sacred science.
And the sacred secretion and the Kundalini and the what else was the other stuff that he was talking about?
Why is Jim Carrey talking about that? And how did he know that? Like
Right.
I just learned about that this year.
Norm McFrickin' Donald was laughing at him. He was sitting with another co-host or something, and they kept looking at each other and laughing. Like, I don't know if that was real or scripted.
Yeah, he's like, I said to his brother, he's like, that is his brother, right? That is a co-host? Is that Norm's brother or just a
I didn't
buddy?
know who that was.
I know who you're talking about, though. Yeah, I don't know if it's his brother or not. Because he's always shitting on him. His name's Adam, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Oh, how funny.
Yeah, in the middle of Jim's getting deep, like he's getting deep into it on the comedy show.
Yeah.
And Norm's just like listening, and he turns over to Adam and he's like, go get me a dictionary. I don't know what he's saying. He's just funny. But I mean, what are you going to do? How's Norm Macdonald going to talk about that on the show? Because he always walks the fence, right? He never goes one way or the other.
Yeah.
That's what made
Norm
him great.
would do that. Norm was funny.
And
Funny guy.
what if Jim Carrey knew this, like maybe he was taught this stuff as a child, and that's why he became a comedian, because he realized if he could be a clown that he could just make it up
Tell
and
the
use
truth.
these principles. And even maybe because he did you ever see the interview of him about writing the check for $1 million to himself when he started to kind of like
that was on Leno,
and he whips it out of his wallet? So what if he knew all this stuff the whole time, and he just, because his comedy was never really grappled or anything. He never did like racial, like woke stuff or liberal stuff. Like he was always just being a clown,
Kinda
like Ace Ventura, Pet
slapsticky.
Detective.
Yeah.
The Mask,
Yeah.
I bet there's some esoteric stuff going on in The Mask if you
I
went back
recently
and
watched it. I think, Adam, do you have that one?
I don't, but I can
okay.
I can snag it.
feel like
I only watched it
feel
once.
I feel like I watched it recently. And yeah, I felt like there was stuff in there that I was like, oh, okay. And now I'm watching it with new eyes,
I saw that
mark
in
it.
the theater like the night before I left to go to the Marines at the hotel I was staying at.
Wow.
And then I saw Ace Ventura 2 in Malta. I saw it in the theater in Malta.
Look
That
at
was
you.
insane. Yeah.
Must be nice.
Yeah, when he was on that Leno show, I think it was that same one. This is like when his first movie, one of his first appearances on Leno, put Leno in a really awkward spot. Didn't know what to do. He's like, I think the funniest joke in the whole world was, this is Jim. He's like, that Buzz Aldrin guy, he's full of crap, man. He's just kind of like, okay, he's like, they landed on the moon. He's like, and these people are playing it. And Leno's just like, he's holding his mouth and he's just like, I don't know what to do right now. I don't know what to do. And then it was just an awkward moment. And Jim just sat there like this, was like, I just created an awkward moment. What are you going to do about it? He's just kind of doing his little thing. So
that's so funny.
yeah, I think what Brandon said is
give the truth right on national TV, but everyone thinks he's so wacky and such a prankster. They're just like, okay, I love,
right.
He's like, all these people, he's like, they think they went to the moon. And he makes this funny Jim Carrey face, like, whatever it is. I can't even think about it, but yeah, dude. And they were just laughing. And the people that know we didn't go were probably laughing the hardest. Anyway, except for Jay Leno. He was kind of laughing too, but he was covering his mouth. Like he was like, oh shit, what's going to happen right now?
Well, he did the same thing on, I don't want to keep talking about Jim, but he did the same thing on Jimmy Kimmel's show. He came out and made Kimmel very awkward when he did like the all-seeing tongue.
Oh, I remember that.
Because that was unscripted and Kimmel had no idea what was going on. And just watching the whole time, he's just like, what am I supposed to do?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, Nigel just said that Craig Ferguson did awkward moments as part of the show. I remember Nigel mentioning that recently. Craig Ferguson. About the awkward silences on the shows.
Craig Ferguson. That guy. Ladies and gentlemen, comedy. No, but yeah, I think Jim, Jim Carrey is a really good comedic actor for sure. He's and I, like I said, what if he is awake to all this stuff, like it's possible. What else would you do with it? Like think about it. And he's not really woke raping anybody, also he's just up there kind of pointing at things, making you do the rest, and that's how he can walk this line and still be a multi-million actor. Because if it was any more, he'd be like, this guy went nuts, and everybody would.
He didn't make a claim. He just made notice. He gave notice.
I was going to say they crank out the media machine against him, but yeah,
that's
totally.
True. That's true.
So I think we could bring that back up to all this hero stuff. And I think that's why people follow Trunk. And that's how I try to look at it. Instead of getting frustrated, I just realize it's like they're doing their best. At least they're voting for him over Hillary in the sewers, like it, even though, and it's a show and he's saying things that those people want to hear. They just don't, they're not fed the stuff like we are because we're tapped into the truth. So we see the medical experimental serum salesman. They don't. A lot of them are like, what? When I say that to them, like diehard Trump supporters have no idea. So it's crazy, but they're just basically doing their best because they're working and they're busy and they have their life. So that's not to excuse them, but it's just so I could show compassion. I don't have to judge them, right?
Yeah.
But that's what I see. And
I feel bad calling them Q-tards, but at the same time, it's like
it's so fun.
Yeah, it's like I feel bad for you, but at the same time, you're an R word. Like I don't know.
Just as kind of an off topic, the Q-tarded song that Owen wrote like just midstream or whatever he was doing, and I think Mountain Bear or some bear, I can't remember which bear, turned it into a cartoon.
Was that recent?
No, this was like last year probably. But but it was he used the Truman Show music, the theme.
Oh yeah,
the Truman Show theme.
Yep, don't play it because we'll get freaking kicked off.
Yeah. But he used that Truman Show theme.
Sing it for us, Sharon. Come on, you're a singer.
Man, I used to like to play it, but then they kept taking it off YouTube. So I wished that he would put it on Telegram somewhere so I could, anytime I felt like listening to the Q-tarded song, I could go listen to it. But he talks about Hillary in the sewers.
Hillary.
And, the pedophiles in the sewers and.
Not that word.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Sorry.
That's like one of the worst. That's all right. I ain't worried about it. Listen,
in the
people that are needing to hear this are hearing it. So that's all that matters. Shout out again to everybody. Thanks for you guys hanging out in the
Maybe
chat.
we'll
Makes
bleep it
really
out
fun.
later.
Yeah, whatever. I'm just messing around.
Only
not making claims.
Only SpaceX can edit live stream YouTube videos.
It's an image. Do you know what the word image means, sir? It's not a picture.
Fake. It's fake. Fake news. An image is
so
not real.
Fake news.
that
Do not make a
basically-
graven image, dare I say?
Yeah.
Oh, don't get me
Ooh.
going on that.
Of the
Right?
heavens.
Because then people were like, I got my dad on this, was like, weren't you taught that we were made in the image of God? He's like, yeah, of course. I'm just like, nope.
Speaking of graven
I
images.
want you to finish that thought, Adam, but go ahead, Brandon.
Oh, go ahead. No, because mine's gonna end. Go ahead. if you
Oh,
have
I thought
one.
you were gonna tell a joke. I want to hear it or something fun.
No,
Yeah,
no, no.
thought
I
it
was
gonna be
gonna.
a joke.
I have an idea, but I'm gonna wait
Okay,
until
yeah.
you're still
Hold your
talking.
thought. Don't forget,
Oh, I
Adam.
won't.
Please grace us with your thoughts.
Well, I mean, we're like you just said, thou shalt have no other graven images, and it's kind of going to the Egyptian. It's partly for the Egyptians because the Egyptians had images to depict what their language was, and the the J's or the K's or the L's and the P's, whatever alphabet letter you
K's
want to
and-
pick, right? They had a problem with that, so they bundled in, thou shalt not have graven images. But it says somewhere in some verse, we're made in the image of God. Well, an image is a reflection. So that means we're not here. Like, are we not like God? So it just, my son likes to look at himself in the mirror and he just giggles and giggles. And I'm like,
cute.
I don't say, hey, that's you in the mirror, because it's not. And I don't say that's your reflection, because I'm saying, but you don't own your reflection. That's a reflection of the likeness of your body that you're manifesting. In case it's like, just say he looks like it's him in the mirror. But yeah, it's like I still follow the concept or the idea that we're all fractals, under the law of one. We're all fractals of the Creator to experience itself and then come back together to full enlightenment, to full embodiment, to full consciousness, and then enjoy itself completely, knowing that it went through every possibility. So there's no heaven, there's no hell, there's just a complete reuniting. So even the worst of the worst of the worst going to keep picking that path, but ultimately they have to, like a magnet, they have to flip back. And that magnet's going to flip as hard as it possibly can when it's at the most extreme possible, flip ring. So all of that to say is that, I can't say that I'm the image of God, because like I was saying earlier, people in the 1700s and pre-1930s, they knew who they were. I think we've lost that. And we are coming full circle, not linear, back to who we are. And I still reference back to Ghostbusters when There Is Only Zool comes out and says, "Are you a god?" And I'm like, yeah. And they say no. And when they say no, that's when they get, plasma beams come out of them.
Even says, and Jesus said, didn't he say, "You are gods"? Just like it says in the Old Testament.
I and the Father are one.
I and the
That's
Father
singular.
are one.
So am I. I and the Father am one. So am I. Anyhow.
1 John 2:27, you don't need another teacher, because the teacher, the Holy Spirit, is within you. You don't need an external savior. You don't need an external thing to, like Brandon was saying to me earlier. We were talking about Joe's episode, Contemplations of Spirit number 11, which I'm halfway through, but it's really good. But yeah, he's talking about this concept of like, you don't have to be like addicted to the gravy. Like if you just contemplate and you just go and meditate, and like nature will give you the answer. Your own intuition will give you the answer.
Yeah, dude, 100%. And I think the important thing to realize is that's one way to look at it. And there's a whole bunch of other ways that people are looking at it that are valid too. They're looking at it as we're all separate beings, man, and we're all here to get to heaven or hell. And as long as they're walking the golden rule, that's great, because not everybody has the same point of view of the world. Not everybody went through the same stuff. Not everybody asked all the questions that had to be asked because they were pains in the asses, and they just kept getting through all the BS that they saw. But anyway,
Yeah, you're right.
some people just have fun, content lives, and that's what they, but again, I like what Adam said. I'm more in that point of view of the world. I think that was
So
brilliant.
I got my dad, wrapped around his head, wrapped around these ideas, and he throws at me, so what about your grandparents? Because they if you were to paint the picture of the perfect quote unquote, Christian family, walking that way, that would be my grandparents. And they'll go out of the way to help anybody. They're just the nicest, gentlest people. And I'm like, well, he's like, are they in heaven? I'm just like, well, they've finished their tasks here. They've completed whatever they completed. And I think whatever life mission that they had to complete while they were here, they more than succeeded in completing it. And I think, they're exited out to where, I don't know, because I took the potion
Well,
of forgetfulness, so I can't tell you.
yeah, they were living in accordance with natural law and the golden rule, loving others, helping others. I mean, I was talking to somebody about this the other day, but like, it's love. It's all, I mean, didn't Jesus say that?
All you
Love
need
your
is
enemies,
love.
love, the people who hate you, love the people who speak ill of you, all that. It's like, and then what did he say? Love God, love people. And those are the two.
But what about our 10 rules? Oh, we have 10 of them.
Yeah. It's
He's like, yeah,
it's
no.
two. It's love God, love people. And that boils down to love. Just love everybody.
But we can't control anybody if they don't love
How
everybody.
dare you? Yep.
Valid point with the hand rubbing. So, was there anything else that you want to say about your dad or whatever?
He's awesome.
About your grandparents.
Hey,
and
Dad, if you're
like,
watching.
where they're at.
I don't know, because I mean, like, it's kind of open ended. Like, I can't tell you. I mean, I know this isn't the end, and I know if this world's not cyclical, then death is not linear. How did I say that again? If this is not linear, then death isn't linear. How can perfect immortal beings have this finite little of existence to spend? All right, you're gonna burn forever, or now you're gonna float with angels. That's none of that buys me. Now I know that there's plenty of good stuff out there, like the Irish Apocrypha stuff, which is, I've read it. It's terrifying if you actually read it. They talk about their whole journey through hell, and from my perspective, maybe that's something that they had to go through in order for them to snap back into, oh man, that's terrible. I should be nicer to people. I can't, I've read things like what's the Apocrypha of Peter, like that's pretty dark. So people have had these, ideas of hellfire and brimstone. I can't say what that is, but I definitely don't think that it's this blip of a life is going to determine a whole eternal ending based on a savior complex.
You do that to yourself. You create your own reality when you're in line with natural law and the golden rule. You're doing God's purpose, right? And if you're acting against that, then you're living in a hell of your own, because you bring about that negative, that karma back onto you.
Yep.
And so the heaven and hell is here.
It is. That is true.
Yeah. It's every lifetime you experience. You either experience it. Brandon, what is it Saint Germain, Fortune Saint Germain, that says something about experiencing trials through joy or suffering or something like that?
We're here to learn lessons. We can learn them through suffering or through joy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds right.
And again, this is our point of view. Maybe we're wrong, but what I was going to say was, speaking of graven images, Sharon, why don't you pull a card for us?
Thank you. Thank you.
See, that was a joke. That was funny. That was good.
I just didn't want to derail the whole thing. Oh man. Yeah, I think I was trying to look for a picture that highlighted this, but I think after we die, there's a portal we go through and we're in another realm without space and time. And then after our time there, then we come back into this, and it might even be instantaneous on this plane, but we could be in that other area for maybe who knows how long, and learning what we have to learn and then go into the next thing. And I like that veil of forgetfulness thing for sure, because I think it's something that's like has to do with our polarity. So I think our polarity, the growth in the polarity, like you'd say in the law of one, remains. And even though if you get put in a situation and then shit happens to you when you're a kid, but then you get to have that. So say, like, put it this way, if you're a jujitsu guy, right? And if you get to become the top guy, black belt, if there's a way for you to forget all your skills but still have that warrior spirit that you built in that knowing and achieving, and then you just get thrown into something else, because what a challenge that would be now to have to master it all over again or master something else, without that, but just the confidence of it and all that kind of stuff. So that'd be the analogy I guess I can use. That's kind of, I think, what happens. And if you have more of a negative life, I think that you were born into this world maybe with that bend or something, I don't know, but I think you're put in a place where you can learn, and maybe it could be looked at as making up for your past transgressions, but you're just there to learn more lessons. They're just tougher because you were such a jerk last time. All right, what do you got, Sharon?
The sun, dude.
Whoa.
Nice.
In the Aleister Crowley How Dare Me deck.
Oh no. Did you kick somebody out?
The Thoth deck.
Hey, guys, someone got a timeout.
No, I know. I'm just laughing at Sharon. That's crazy, dude. Look at that card now. See,
That's
the thing about
beautiful.
the sun. It's such a positive card.
The sun.
Yeah.
Look how it's depicted.
The Son of God.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Astrotheology.
Yeah, it's anthropomorphism to its max at the Bible.
Syncretism.
Yeah, that looks like a I don't know, an eclipsed sun with portals and plasma beams coming out, and people. I can't see what they're doing at the bottom though.
They're two cherubims, like angels dancing.
Oh, nice. Yeah. I love it. I love that card. That's just a great image. I could just stare at that for hours.
The whole thing's like a portal.
Looks like an egg portal.
Yeah.
It is a portal. Yeah, you're right.
Which is just a what do they call it when the two concentric circles? It's the meeting of
Vesica Pisces.
Vesica Pisces, yeah.
Is that when you stare down the shotgun of a toroidal field?
Turn it sideways. Yeah, that could be that.
Is that what you're saying? Okay.
No, like turn it, put it on its side.
What do you mean?
Make it landscape. Put it in landscape.
Oh, landscape. Thank you.
Are you guys millennials? What's going on?
Paxton might have a comment about this.
Doesn't that look like an eye now? Looks like an eye, and now also looks like a beetle with the green parts of the head with the two black eyes.
Dude, nice. Yeah, scarab beetles. They were big in Egyptian lore. Like someone shared it with me before, but I can't remember. But that definitely looks like a beetle.
Well, the significance of the scarab is that they're the ones that would eat at the bones and pick all the flesh and all that stuff, so they became associated with death.
Oh, like we do with the goat now.
Yeah, and rebirth and stuff like that, and like the transformation. So that's kind of like, it reminds me of like a caterpillar turning into a butterfly too, like that moment where it happens maybe in the cocoon. But yeah,
man, I just love that art. That's just gorgeous.
And goes back to enlightenment, that word, because I was going to say this earlier, a lot of these new age terms, what happens is people from the new age movement come across all this information and they use it in a different way, and words have different meanings to different people. So when people say enlightenment or all that stuff, they don't always have the same meaning. Sometimes it's garbled, just like they do with the Christian stuff. But yeah, that's really cool. What do you think, Sharon, about the card?
Oh, it's so beautiful. Oh my gosh. Okay, so the more I look at it, there's little things all over it. It's broken down into the zodiac. So it has the crab at the bottom, which is Cancer, right? And then Gemini, the twins, the Taurus, the Aries, the Pisces, the Aquarius. I don't know if you guys noticed that, or you can see it. Maybe you can pull it up in
I'll find a picture.
Your browser. It has the Sagittarius, the Capricorn, the Sagittarius, the Scorpio, the Libra. So it's broken up into 12 pieces, and then these little tiny, like it's hard to see them, but these little tiny things you can see, like there's a crab right here, but it's hard to see. The Gemini twins, I think, are right here.
2, 3, 4.
So once Brandon
6,
pulls it
7,
up, it's
8,
going to be
9,
easier,
10,
much
11,
easier to
12. Oh,
see
there's
it.
12. There's 12 beams coming out. So there's 12 compartments.
Yeah, exactly.
So each compartment has a
So it's the
has a sign
zodiac.
in it. Nice.
Oh yeah, now I got it now.
Okay, you're gonna share it?
I'm gonna share it. I'm gonna overshare it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
baby.
crab.
While you pull that up, Nigel, here's that book. It's
Oh, you're small now.
oh, I'll show you later. Oh gosh, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Right? Dude, what an appropriate card to pull
If
right
you
now.
look in this in the big beam, there's 12 big beams that are coming out. I said, the compartments. If you look in the inner beams, there's 3 compartments. That would of those inner beams. Looks like the 3
Oh,
deacons.
Yeah. The decante or whatever.
Yeah, there's 3
Oh, you're
decantes in
right.
each one
It's
of them.
broken into the decans or decans or
Decans.
whatever
Yeah,
they're
I
called.
forget how you say the word. I was just
I don't know. I'm just saying it like Crow says it because I've heard him say it many times.
Yeah.
I don't know if he says it right, but
It also
whatever.
looks like a flower in the center.
Well,
Oh,
yeah.
and I didn't realize that's like a mound. That's like a mound with a at the bottom of the green thing.
Like a ring or something.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
what is
like
that ring thing? It
that
almost reminds me
represents.
of a mushroom of the
Yep.
of the red and white
Oh
Amanita
yeah.
muscaria a little bit,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah. It has also to do with bounty, like pregnancy, that type of idea. Any mound, it's very feminine.
Oh,
even
it's
though they
very
might.
pregnant
Yeah.
with a pregnant pause. I'm just kidding.
Yep. Exactly.
Those
It's
are
got morning-
butterfly wings, not cherubim wings.
Oh,
Oh
yes, they
yeah.
are. They're butterflies.
Which
Look at
makes
that.
them possibly fairies and not cherubim.
Yeah. I can't tell with the things on the bottom of them. Those 2 little, are they coins or what are those
Yeah.
little things?
They look like crosses, like
The Celtic cross or something.
A Celtic cross?
Celtic,
Yeah.
yeah.
And you know what? Around it, the sun, it's like the different colors, almost the different colors of the rainbow. You see the orange, the yellow, the red, the
Oh,
purple,
yeah.
We kind of-
the blue,
You've also got with those
and
you point out,
green.
it kind of looks like Freemason artwork too, with the 3 circles. You have the black circle, the white circle, and then the sun with the 2 angels being the 2 pillars. I'd be curious, and that says is the portal, and behind them in that Freemasonic portrait is always a portal. I'll have to compare it.
Mm, mm.
Yeah.
It also kind of looks like a flower, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did we say that already?
Yeah, dandelion.
Yeah, really cool card.
Wow.
I'm glad you pulled it. I like that.
Yeah.
Great pull.
Thank you. It was
Visually
meant to be,
appealing.
it was meant to be pulled. Adrian's here. Welcome, Adrian.
Oh, hey, Adrian. What's up?
Thank you,
Not-
El Jupitor. Yeah,
Nigel in
totally.
chat was asking about the Irish Apocrypha, which I found. It is let's see if I can not get the glare. The medieval Irish Apocrypha, and it was actually by Zen Garcia. He actually collected all the works together. So if you go to
Oh.
sacredword.com, I think that's
No,
what it
Sacred
is.
Word Publishing, I think, .com.
All right, just type in Sacred Word Zen Garcia and you'll find it. But it's got a collection of stories which are really neat. The vision of this guy, the vision of that guy, the dream of this guy, the beheading of this dude. Pretty neat stuff. Pretty dark. The images won't leave your head, so be ready.
Oh, there's pictures in there?
No, the images that it paints with the words won't.
Oh,
They do a
God.
good job. Worse than the Apocrypha of Peter. If you remember that one.
Nice.
I don't. Can you give me a hint? Remind me?
It's all about the 7th trumpet being blown and the earth splitting and all the different types of torments people go through based on this sin or that sin or this sin or that sin or that sin.
Oh, I
And
feel like I remember that.
it's just chapters and chapters and chapters of chapters and chapters of just like, okay, so you're an adulteress. This is what's going to happen to you if you're a female. This is going to happen. Like, and they just describe and describe. And then the very last chapter is Peter or Thomas. Is Apocrypha of Peter? No, Peter. Peter was weeping so intensely that he's like, I just can't bear that this is the thing that people have to go through. I need to do more. He's like, I'm going to tell you something. Jesus is like, I'm going to tell you something. You can't tell anybody else, hush, hush. But there is a thing called the ultimate forgiveness, the ultimate sacrifice, the ultimate forgiveness. I think it was something like that, where all people are forgiven. So even in this try something word, even in this tribulation, that's the word, even through this tribulation people have to go through, whether it be 7 years, 74 years, 49, whatever math you want to use, 7 times 7 times 7, at the very end, people will eventually learn their lessons, even if it's millennia long, and then there'll be the ultimate redemption.
Right.
And so at that point, they'll all be redeemed. It'll look a little bit different for those people, but that still flows with the law of one, right? At some point, whatever hell that you've created, however negative you want to make that, it has to flip over to positive. So same idea, but it's pretty graphic.
It's similar to the idea of the Course in Miracles that talks about
really quickly, maybe not to positive, but to center balance. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, it's more accurate. That's
like
more accurate.
brand off the gray. Dare I say?
It reminds me of the Rick and Morty episode. Sorry to interrupt, but when they go into this machine to detoxify, they literally detoxify all their bad personality traits. And that's kind of where we're at, like with this. And I think the negative and the positive is the same thing. And when it comes together, then, anyway, go ahead.
No, good stuff.
Thanks.
New Rick and Morty tonight on Comedy Central. Stay tuned at 11 p.m.
We're going to get paid now.
Yeah.
Which it is.
We're monetizing. Not. No, but what Adam was saying reminded me of A Course in Miracles of the, there's nothing to forgive. Right?
Exactly.
I try telling myself that every day now. I'm trying to, there's nothing to forgive. There's nothing to forgive.
There's nothing to forgive. Everything is perfect. Everything is perfectly as it should be.
Kate and I got in an argument yesterday, and she's just like, why don't you just say I'm sorry? And I'm like, there's nothing to forgive. And she's just getting more angry. And so I'm like, all right, you got to watch this. I cannot say I'm sorry. I know it's what you want. Now I feel bad. I feel bad that you're having these emotions, but I can't, because then I make you the victim.
I just really can't. I can't do this to you.
How dare you?
She'll get there.
How dare you?
Aww.
Olive Tree Bear said gravy and image.
I know. I saw that. Graven image.
That's good. Yeah, that card
really
was
good.
Definitely a gravy image.
Holy smokes, that card. Brandon, what's the sun card?
Brand off the brown and green junt. I'm sorry.
Says he's French fried, whatever that means.
I'm French fried, he said. Oh yeah, as in he. I thought you meant as in me. Might be a little French fried allegedly, but it's cool. So anyway.
So the sun card.
Yes.
What do you want to tell us about that? Did you tell us about it?
Yeah, I think that for this episode, it's great for this date because it's it represents an illumination. I feel it can also represent the day that you see the world differently because your eyes open and there's a new portal of think about when you were open to conspiracy or whatever, there was this whole other world that opened up that existed. So I think it's the same thing that we're going through right now.
Dawning of a new day. Could it be?
Especially all this info that we're coming across, it's there's all the fears kind of dropping away because we realize that no matter what happens, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It does though, because day to day, as the decisions you make, it makes it better. When you start to treat people the way you want to be treated, all that stuff we talk about, and you really start to live it and you stop lying and you stop all this bullshit, you start to vibrate on a higher level. So I think that makes up for it. But at the end of the day, we realize that it doesn't matter if we get hit by a truck when we walk out the door, that we're going to go to
that's
where we're
what was
supposed
meant
to go.
Happen in that instance.
Fucking Amazon trucks.
Yeah. So Adam, you were going to say something.
My brain's going every direction. I couldn't figure out which way to hone it in. But yeah, with the sun card, with the portal, because go back 21 years ago and they kind of created a different portal for the minds of men to enter through to usher in this new era. And you had the Matrix in 1999, which was kind of like a big, service to public notice. And then that kind of got the minds of men wrapped around some of these ideas. And then the year 2000, or the end of 1999 was, Y2K is going to happen. Y2K is happening. Computers, this, it was a big computer push year. And, Crow's already broken down that Y2K encodes 9/11. But the big push, I think, for that fear was to mislead the minds of men for the year 2000 and what the year 2000 was and what it wasn't. Because that year they celebrated, oh, we're in the new millennium, 2000, Y2K, that's where they pushed all this stuff. Well, in the Gregorian calendar, there's no year zero. So, year 1 to year 1000, that's 1000 years. So 1001 is the start of the new year, the new millennia. So the year 2001, people didn't realize, the massive people didn't realize that that's the first year of the 21st century. So they use that first year, they use that 2000 year as the scapegoat, so they can open up the portal for the new millennium, and that they chose this as the way to do that, by bringing down Jacob and Boaz, right? By bringing down the two towers of mind and erecting the new mind. Well, that's what they're doing now. What I think is interesting is that, people talk about Agenda 21 and they think, things have been happening the last couple of years, that last year was Agenda 21 is moving forward because it's 2021. But I think it's the same trick, because this year, today, 2022, this is the 21st year of the 21st century. I saw a meme a while ago that said, last year was the 21st year. I'm like, no, there's no year zero. So that means today is the 21st year of the 21st century. And that's, Crow talks about blackjack all the time. So I find it interesting that Queen Elizabeth died, allegedly, on September 8th, which is 3 days, when Jesus went to the tomb, he died, was on the ground for 3 days, and he rose again. So today is day 3.
Is she going to resurrect?
No, but I mean,
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
Esoterically, I think there's an idea there that they had to usher in whatever this new idea is, this new monetary system, whatever. We won't know for another 21 years if we're still sleeping what this thing is that they're pushing forward. But I think the timing of the event of her passing away, and exactly 3 days later, when the Christ rose again from the grave, because that's an allegory too, but that's usually under the winter solstice. However, they're using 9/11 to encode whatever they're encoding. So I think the number system and the way they're presenting these things is very interesting, and they have a higher understanding of numbers than maybe most of us do. And I don't remember what I started off with, but that was my
I just
rant.
want to say that I'm totally down for Zombie Queen. I think we should make that trend. Hashtag
Oh
Zombie
God.
Queen. Slow-mo
hilarious.
Buggy, where you at? Are you still watching? Yeah, dude. Hashtag Zombie Queen. She rose on the 3rd day and she's like, I want some tea.
Is it
I
tea time
crave
yet?
tea. She, you think she'd want brains, but you just got to give her some tea and biscuits and she's fine.
Well, I just want to shout out Granted Extracts, who came into the chat just
Hey, what's up, James?
and,
what up, dude?
711 Lucas. Welcome, you guys.
We got to have him back. We got to have Najla on too. Hey, tell
Yeah.
Najla we want to have her on soon. Please.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll hit her up.
That. Yeah.
Slow-mo, he said,
show
still
me.
here. Get it trending. Hashtag Zombie Queen. All right.
Get it trending.
Oh, Flattoberfest 2022.
Are you going, Adam?
I might.
Really?
Yeah.
I was thinking about it.
You'll make the hall?
I was thinking about it.
You're
You're gonna be cool. There?
I'm working on it. I was trying to get my buddies to be there, but they're going to be at some very cool event in Florida, which I'm not going to bring up here, but it's super cool.
Okay.
And they couldn't make it. So it is a 2-day event. I've been wanting to go for a while. I got, all the flat tailor names are to be there. I don't like Mark Sargent at all. He's totally a psyop guy. And having met him personally and seeing him and talk to him and watch him, I don't like him, but he'll be there. So, I still had a lot of fun at those events. So yeah, I'd like to go.
Well, James is going to be there. James at Granted Extracts.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Mellow Dome Austin will also be there, right?
Yeah, it's only an hour from me. I
Yeah, I figured it wasn't that far from you. I I thought I looked and I thought it was 2 hours from you.
It's only 2 hours from me.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
It's a 1, 2, same thing.
Yeah, I'd probably just get like a hotel Saturday night and just leave super early and then come back late Sunday.
Oh, okay. So, and maybe James can tell us, but like, like there's it's funny because it says like 21st, 22nd, and 23rd
Mhm.
on one part of the website, and then another part says just the 22nd and 23rd. So I
Oh,
don't know what the first, like the 21st is. It's a Friday, but is it for like hanging out at the park or something like
well,
that?
I know that when we did the Flattober, not Flattober, the Flat Earth Conference in 2019 in Dallas, Texas, if you were like a VIP member, you had like the Friday night, you could go there early, and they had like a special dinner, and that's when I got to hang out with Rob, Skiba, and Zen. I got my photo with them, and
Yeah.
that was like for private members only, and you could check
Oh,
in.
got
So
it.
we did
Okay.
have a dinner there and a social meetup and drinks, and it was a lot of fun.
Okay.
But the average Joe with the average ticket didn't have everything until Saturday. So
Jason Lindgren is also, I'm pretty sure Jason Lindgren's going to be there
Yep.
at Flattoberfest. And I
7-Eleven
met
Lucas would know.
Jason. Huh?
In the chat. 7-Eleven Lucas in the chat or Grounded Extracts would know if Jason's going to be there probably.
Oh,
So let us know.
21st hang at the park. Yes. See,
Oh,
that's
see,
what
there
I
you go.
think it was. Yeah. Thank you, 7-Eleven Luke, or whatever your name is. Yeah, so I met Jason Lindgren like a week ago. And he was really cool, really great guy. So I don't know. I might like just to see peeps again. I might, and see Adam again. I might go.
Yeah,
I'm thinking about it.
Brandon, can you mute next time you do that?
Oh,
I'm just
I
kidding.
did, right?
I'm just messing.
Good
Yeah,
call.
keep me updated because that would be great.
Okay. Yeah. That would be fun. Really good times. Yeah. And like if you know a hotel.
Now I'm giddy.
Okay, yes. If you know a hotel or somebody knows a hotel, 7-Eleven Lucas or Grounded Extracts, I don't know, that's nearby. That
Or
I
if there's
can,
any bears that are like bear hosting or something, like
yeah, Bears
that'd be
hosting.
cool.
Yeah, that'd be cool too. Airbnbs, Bears hosting, et cetera, et cetera.
Bear
So,
BB.
yeah, I said Bear B&B this past weekend. I was like, I wish there was a such thing. I was like, oh, Bear B&B.
I
That would
like
be-
that. I like Owen's little jokey thing that he does when people are like, oh, you got censored. You got knocked off of a platform. You haven't been censored until you get knocked out of Airbnb. He's
Well,
like,
he
that's
did.
when you know.
His wife did. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was talking about that at the poker table the other day. So listen to this crazy story. I'll fill some people in because this is a funny story. I went to bring my friend Pat Oates, who's a comedian. I podcast with him sometimes. He had a gig at the casino this weekend opening up for Tommy Davidson. You know, he was on In Living Color. And so he needed a ride to the casino, yet they give him hotel rooms to stay in, whatever. So I went up and I ended up playing poker. And I sat down at this table and we were talking. And part of the story is they were talking about comedians. And I started talking about Owen Benjamin a little bit. And I'm like, yeah, I go, he's really, but I'm like, he's really offensive. And they're like, really? I go, yeah, he got kicked off everything. I'm like, he got kicked off of Twitter, Facebook. I'm like, he got kicked off of Airbnb. Some guy's like, he got kicked off of Airbnb. And I explained it all. He was like, well, I'm like, yeah, buildingbartaria.com. Check it out. Like, you guys think you like comedy? Well, here you go. Check this guy out,
Yeah.
But so they have this promotion going where every hour between a certain time in the poker room, they choose a table at random and they give like somebody their reward basically. So there's like 40 tables maybe going, and our table is number 13. And the lady next to me was like really cool. And she's like, they're about to call the number. So everyone stop the hands. They're waiting to hear the number, And she's like, it's going to be 13. And they're like, table 13. So they come over and they put this in the next hand. They put this big chip in, and whoever wins that hand gets the chip. And so basically this guy, everybody just calls the $2 because I was playing out a 1-2 table. It was no limit though. So the last guy goes all in for $51. And I had an ace. You get my 2 cards. So I was like, I'm going to call. So I called, and a bunch of people behind me called, like everyone at the table, because they wanted this prize. And it could be from $300 cash to like 5,000, but I think most of them were 300. which is still cool. So on the flop, the guy next to me goes all in before I act, and there's an ace out there, and I'm like, well, I have an ace. I know
said
how to
that?
play poker, right? And I was like, I called him. And then like everybody at the table called behind, or like a couple people called. So it was crazy. And I end up winning with just a pair of aces by the time they run all the cards out. And there's 3 clubs on the flop. I had no clubs, but I'm like, the guy next to me, I watched him play. I'm like, he's full of it. He's got a draw. He probably has 1 club. And anyway, so I won the hand and I bought into the table for $150. And so I win 300 for that. And then I cashed out. Listen to this, $888.
Nice.
Insane, dude.
Yeah, and that's after
I've been
tipping
seeing
the dealer like
88s
15
lately.
bucks. I
Funny.
was like, yes, dude, here you go. Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I just said I've been seeing 88s like for a
Yeah.
while now, for at least sometime before I went to Bear Fest.
That's probably because of the Lion Gate.
Mm.
Oh, did it went because it closed or whatever?
Well, 88, right?
Oh, 88. Yeah. I was
88,
seeing it
88.
around that. I was seeing it around that time too. Yeah.
It's time travel number.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Good numbers.
I remember 1988. I remember looking at the newspaper.
Oh,
I
wow.
was like 12. I was like, this is crazy. 88. Yeah. Everyone's like,
Wow.
shut up, Brandon. You're nuts. No. I'm like, dude, this is crazy. They're like, get out of here, young Jesus. No. I was
that what-
12, guys. See?
And that started everything.
12. Were you
I
at
got
the
my allegedly
temple
hat on. It's fine.
teaching everyone? You were trying.
I was just trying.
You were just trying.
So I think what we were going to talk about next is the next step once you realize this stuff like that about hero worship. And also, it's not all bad. There's these archetypes that are there that can be inverted, just like everything in society is inverted. So yeah, maybe you should have a hero, but who should that hero be? You.
Self.
Yourself.
Not the
And
ego self.
yeah, not that you're going to save the world and do all this stuff. It's just that you're going to be your own hero in your life. In the everyday little things that happen, you're going to try to be the hero. And I don't mean like save the day, but I mean just in your interaction with your parent that bothers you, or your spouse, or that guy at the supermarket. You're going to try to be, what would what would Jesus do? What would a hero do? And if you see some money changers in the temple, you flip those tables, damn it. But yeah, what do you think?
My
Oh, go
nephew
ahead, Adam.
flipped his my nephew got sent home from school this past week. He's, I don't know, 10, 11. And when I found out why, he got mad because the teacher asked him to do something. And so he flipped the table, his school desk table,
Hilarious.
in front of the teacher and just lost it and flew it. And Kate's sister was like, maybe he was just trying to reenact Jesus
That's
at the money changers table.
hilarious, dude.
Principal didn't buy it, but
That's too
Is he
funny.
12? No.
he's 10, 11, or 12. He's something like that.
Oh, wow. Yeah, so Chris wants to know if I got to meet Camera Bear. I did. And Camera Bear was like, tell Brandon I said hi.
Hell yeah. What's up, Camera Bear? Yeah, he's awesome.
Shout out to Camera Bear.
I just saw they're having a meetup. Chris, you going to the meetup they're going to have? I think it's funny, Sharon, because it's on your birthday. 10/9, they're having something
who
up.
has a meetup?
They're going to do, I think, Comfortable Bear, and someone else is putting on like some kind of bear meat, but it's also like a festival or something. I'm not quite sure,
Up
but I
in
just
the
saw
New-
like a
up
market,
in-
or something like that. But yeah, I'm
Up
thinking
in New
about going to
England,
it.
or like up there where you're at?
Yeah, it's about 4 hours for me, but
Okay.
I might, because if I could find a Airbnb for the night, I might go up, hang out there, and then crash at a Airbnb.
Dude, post it on the BTA.
Yeah, totally.
You still have your camper on your car?
No, I took it off, but I could easily throw it back on, or just sleep in my car, or host at some, whatever. I'm very flexible. But yeah, that would be cool to stay in that tent. That's a good idea.
Yeah. Put it back on.
Because it'd be like the perfect temperature. It'd be chilly up there, but not too bad in October. Yeah, so
What's Adam drinking?
Dandelion tea.
Ooh, I have some of that
Dandelion,
too.
as usual. That's your favorite.
Oh my gosh, it's all thanks to you. Thank you, Sharon.
Oh, thank you.
Got me hooked on it. I can't stop. So
She's
now
in
I,
there.
I need to get hooked on it.
no, I'm completely off coffee now. This is, and I love not having like, even throughout the day, I'm just like, my hands just have to like, feel like a J. I just have to kind of do stuff with it. Now I'm just kind of like chill. But I
That's
actually,
cool.
because you're not supposed to really, I want to make a short little video. There's plenty of them on YouTube, but for friends, just kind of like how to harvest the whole process from start to finish. Because we have a fields of dandelions here, and I got my shovel and I just dug them. I dig them out. I clean them. I scrub them. I take the leaves. I clean the leaves. Those go into salads. I like those. But now I intentionally grow dandelions. I collect, when the seeds get all white, the big white balls. I'm like, don't touch it, Kate. I just go in there, I clip it, and I put it in the bag. And then I have like these big buckets that I use, and I put them in there and I grow them because that way the roots can go really deep.
Wow.
So yeah, I love it. And I just
Really
found
awesome.
3 massive ones that I've never seen dandelion leaves this big before. So I'm excited.
Holy smokes.
I'm excited.
And then do you roast it?
Mhm.
Okay, so did you use the method that I had, or do you have a different way of roasting it?
Tell me your method.
Oh, well, I just looked up a way to use like an air fryer.
I've done both. Yeah. I've done it in the oven and I've done an air fryer. So when I dig
Okay.
the root out, I wash it and I clean it and I have a little scrubber. So I just kind of do a quick little scrub. So the root looks kind of like brown.
Yeah.
And then if you scrub it, it'll turn white. So I scrub it to it's decent white. And then I have like a food processing thing where I blend stuff in. I throw all the roots in there. I get it to its, it almost looks like
Chunky.
coffee grounds. Coffee grounds.
Oh, coffee grounds. Okay, yeah.
About that size. And then I lay them out on like some parchment paper, put it in the oven or put it in the air fryer, like 200 degrees for an hour or until it starts to get really, you just have to watch it. And then when it looks black, between brown and black, that's when I'm done, or you can smell that aroma.
Yeah.
And I just keep it in a jar and I just, I do like
scoop it.
for every 12 ounces, I'll put in 3/8 tablespoon.
Okay.
It's not much. It doesn't take much at all when you get nice and dark.
Yeah.
Put a little Shilajit in there too.
Oh, Shilajit. A little dirt don't hurt nobody.
I'm Joe Dirt.
That's funny. I just found out about what is that thing that looks like a clover but they're hearts? So it's I just saw a meme about it actually. Not fennel. Maybe Adrian put it in there. I'll think of it. Anyway, I realized that because oh man, it was right there, but I lost it. Sorrel. No. Yeah, sorrel. Yeah, sorrel. I think that's it. And it's funny because I was listening to the Hobbit book again, and he just talked about munching on sorrel.
Oh yeah.
And then I see this meme about it.
Gosh,
Yeah.
that's Hobbit
totally
books.
synced. Fennel? Adrian says fennel.
Is it? I have fennel. It doesn't look like
fennel,
a heart.
Fennel tastes like licorice, doesn't it?
He said
maybe
sorrel.
Fennel, yeah.
He said
sorrel. Yeah, she said no, it was sorrel. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, or sorrel, however you say that. Sorrel.
I don't know.
It's so real, man.
It's sorrel, you know what I mean?
It's so real, man. It's surreal.
And Cody said depression salad.
What is that?
I don't know. I think because he was talking about putting dandelions on his salad. I don't know.
Oh.
Depression?
Because it would taste like crap or what?
No, it's got a bitter taste. Dandelion leaves have a bitter taste.
Maybe that's why.
But,
tell us, Cody, what you meant by depression salad.
Dandelions, the roots are so good for you. I'm sure people have seen the little video going around in Truth Movement stuff, but like it's really good for your heart. Like it's extremely good for your heart. And it's interesting that the number one company, pharmaceutical company that makes heart medicines are also the leading distributor for Roundup. They create Roundup. So they're killing the one plant that is actually the most beneficial plant to your heart. But that's just a conspiracy, right?
Allegedly, right?
I don't know.
We don't know.
I don't know. What do I know?
Speaking of crazy and things that grow around you for your health and benefit. So allegedly. So people say things that they just grow around you, like dandelions, right? So my niece got on Easter, got my mom this pot like this big. It was like probably from like the side of the road, whatever, and it had a like a flower plant in it that was all like really nice and green, whatever. And it's just one solid thing that stuck up with some flowers, and it just sat out on the porch basically. And so by now it's like pretty brown and dead, but growing out of it is one stalk of holy basil. And I had a bunch of holy basil last year. I didn't plant any this year though, so
it's a volunteer. Isn't that what that's called?
Yeah, they're volunteers. Yeah.
It was
It
crazy.
appeared out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So I'm gonna go look around for some more because there's more growing. Yep.
Faux show.
There was a show on Crow where they talked about, it might have been a bear that was a co-host. I don't remember who it was that was the guest, but it ended with Crow saying, I recommend everybody know at least 5 plants, weeds, natural, plants that are in your backyard or in your community. Learn what they are, just so you know what kind of natural plants are there. And so I accepted that challenge. And there's an app called Picture This, a stupid name for the app, but it's called Picture This. And you just take a picture of any plant, any tree, any green organism out there, and it'll tell you right there and there what the plant is. Now, it's not going to tell you all the cool stuff about it, but it will tell you what it is and give you some, capital science information. But then what I do is I cross-reference it to a book called Natural Remedies and Herbs, like the Lost Herbs and Remedies. I can't remember the name of the book. It's over there. It's like 500 pages big. I have the PDF of it. So then I just cross-reference it and say, all right, what does this do? And I look at all, how do you make the tinctures, what you do with the root, what you do with the leaves, what it's good for. And one of the things I learned is goldenrod. Goldenrod grows like weeds out here. And because that's, I didn't know what it was. So now I just let it grow against the forest line. It's like the cure-all. There's a very interesting story about it. Like a mythical type of story to help remember what it's supposed to do for you. But it's basically everything. It cures everything. Name it, it cures it. So I started harvesting it, and you can start eating it as like the leaves for the salads. You can make tinctures out of it. If groundnut extract's here, maybe you could throw a little something about goldenrod in here. But I now bought goldenrod seeds, and in the spring I'm gonna have a section dedicated just to planting that stuff. Wow. So, but yeah, go get that app, go in your backyard, and just take pictures of plants, and you think, oh, I was just mowing my grass. Well, you might be surprised. I stopped mowing a patch by where my goat pens are at now because I found a little berry. And so I'm like, oh, I wonder what you are. Now I have this huge blackberry bush. We had some good harvest this year, but now I've made it another patch so it can grow longer so that next spring it'll grow. It's just natural blackberries. Never would have, I just would have mowed it. So you never know what you'll find.
You never know.
That's awesome.
All the volunteers.
Mm-hmm.
That's so cool. Really cool.
Sweet.
Brandon, did you want to look at the notes, and was there anything else you wanted to touch on? Did you want to talk about archaics and patterns and loops? I think that's something you wanted to talk about.
Well, did you finish your thoughts on the archetypes of heroes?
Oh, we didn't. I don't think we did.
Yeah, so I could wrap it up quick. Basically, that's what you do, right? You just want to be the hero every day instead of externalizing it. And again, we're not here to tell people what to do. This is just our path, and we feel like it's more balanced, I guess you could say. And yeah, you could still look to certain people to look up to and emulate them. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think it's just when you put more of the weight on other people in a external hero than you do on being your own hero, that's when you're kind of going, I don't know. I don't want to say I don't want to make claims, but I think the other way is better. How about that? All right. So, but then I think what happens is people depend less on heroes like Trunk also. So,
but sometimes a hero is just an idea, like an idea in nature. It doesn't have to be like a literal man or a literal self. Like anthropomorphism is heavily in the Bible and a lot of texts like that. So, you know, you have your Jesus as the savior figure, but it's really just pointing to the sun card, the sun card we saw earlier.
Why I thought that sun card was so appropriate for this post.
So there's your masculine or feminine. I think it's masculine. It feels like it should be masculine. The moon should be feminine. But when you take the attributes of those characters or of those natural, whatever they discs or trees or whatever, and you create stories from them, then, you know, it's just an idea. So it's not, hasn't be a real person. Just kind of, I don't know. A hero can be what you want, what you make of it. So my hero's nature.
Nice. Yeah. Bigfoot worship.
Oh yeah.
What would you say, Brandon?
Bigfoot worship. He's got a big statue of Bigfoot in his backyard.
Oh.
I don't know.
I revisited that 2 years ago. It looks pretty legit.
Yeah.
I'll just leave it at that.
I know somebody who I visited on my trip who saw footprints. I don't want to say names, but
yes, snow. I remember that story.
Fresh ones.
Yeah, fresh ones. Fresh footprints.
Yeah, and visual experiences also, I think, as well. So, you know. Who knows?
Who knows
what a realm this is? We could kind of, is that what we want to talk about too, what the realm is, or is that last?
That was toward the end, but like we can head there. We can do whatever. We're just chit chatting.
Oh, you know what we did want to talk about? We didn't really, I kind of touched on it, but the New Age stuff.
Yeah, for sure. I wanted to go there too, but I didn't know if you were done.
Yeah, no, we could go there. Is that skipping stuff? No, that's right. That's good, right?
Is that what
that was more toward the beginning. So
yeah, okay.
Because we wanted to talk about how like we can use things as tools, but we wanted to just distinguish between like religious indoctrination and how we've been told things are a certain way, but all the religions do that in some way, including Christianity, including the New Age. Brandon, take it away.
Yeah, totally. I think what I wanted to say was there's these words that we use like karma or dharma or enlightenment or you know, any of these crazy words people hear and they automatically think it has to do with the New Age. And I think what we've learned is that there are these words that have been around a long time and some people have a different meaning for them, or they just have a different ideology, but they use these words because they know there's truth in them, similar to what the Romans did with Christianity. You know, they take this phrase, render unto Caesar, which is Caesar's, which there's a lot of truth in there, but they, you know, the governmental institutions or whatever it is, they'll use that to directly say, you got to be a slave, boy. You know, it's like, that's not what they're saying. So the same way somebody could say, hey, he's talking about render unto Caesar. That's all just BS. But somebody that's a true Christian could just say, they know that if there's a government that's in power and there's a slavery kind of thing going on, that sometimes the power is so great, you just have to rent whatever. You can interpret it in your own way. And that's what I think where the real truth is behind how it's used, how these concepts and words are used. So when you hear us say these words, and I know most of our listeners get this, but people asked us about the New Age stuff because, and I think the reason I could speak on it so well, I know and jump around a lot, but the reason is because I immersed myself in it a lot. So I just got a gross feeling it didn't fit for me. So I worked my way out of that point of view, but now I know it all. I have that knowing, and I realized what the truth was, why I was attracted to it in the first place. And I was able to step out of it. Similar to a lot of people in here also are kind of like falling away from their hardcore Christian beliefs, you know, with the dogma and stuff. It's the same kind of thing. And then once you get through it, you could see how a preacher or pastor are using these same words that you want to say to somebody, like the golden rule or, you know, Christ or whatever. And they're using it in a different way to control people. So I think the same thing happened with the New Age. So don't be concerned with the words. I think that's one of the biggest spells.
Well said.
Thank you. And I think one of the biggest spells that happens or tricks is that words are a poor way for us really to communicate, because the meanings of them could be shifted, and it could be in a good way too, because you can learn what a word actually means, like death. We've talked about this. it's just the end of a cycle. So it could be like the end of your career, or it could be the literal end of your life or whatever. But we realized it just is denoting cycles. So now when we hear him talk about death in the Bible, we're like, oh, wait, what if they're just talking about cycles? And then you have this whole like awakening. So in that same way, when you start to learn what a lot of these words truly mean, like karma and dharma and nirvana and all this stuff, and even namaste, and I think Owen talks about this. He's like, it just means that the good in me recognizes the good in you, or whatever. The spark of God, of divinity, recognizes it in you, no matter how evil you are, whatever.
Yeah.
But then you hear people say namaste, all the time, like at a yoga studio. So
Yeah,
I get it.
and yoga, it just means union, like
Yeah,
union with the divine.
exactly. And it's been used now to like market all these ladies to go down and go to a class and get in some fancy pants and stretch. It's crazy. So that's what we wanted to say about that. What do you think, Adam?
No, I think you're right, dead right on that. But like, gematria, like knowing what words mean, where they came from, and how it's just another means to slow boil the lobster. Doesn't know it's in a pot, and just keep. And that's why does Webster have to keep updating its dictionaries every year? They got to start, adding words. Well, then they remove words, and then they change what words mean. And now we live in a world where I don't even know if Webster's or the Oxford's dictionary. I don't even know if they make hardback books anymore. It's all digital, and if it's on digital, now you can just change what words mean, and now you can't say things like J and N, and
and
because it means things.
JNN sounds like the worst news channel ever. Anyway,
The voice.
JNN.
Yeah, you're totally right. And all what I wanted to add to what I said. Now that you said
Wait,
that,
hold on. N and J is grounded extracts,
grounded
Nodula
extracts.
and James.
There you go. You can still say those words, everybody, but you can't say the other N word or the other J word.
That's what I was referencing. Everybody go shop at grounded extracts. Yeah.
Oh God, that was a
I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. Necrophiliism. See, I don't care. I'm not afraid.
Did you see that meme of the what was that guy? Oh, I shouldn't open my mouth until I knew what it was from. Forget it.
Well, I'll talk about what I was gonna say, and then maybe you can remember.
Good.
Unless you remember. All right. I was just gonna say what I said about the New Age also goes for astrology and tarot and Kabbalah and Hermeticism and all these symbols. They're just tools. What I found through my research, so if you were also questioning like astrology, like I get it, because I was there too. And a lot of it's used as a tool in the mainstream. When you see in the paper, it keeps people in states of victim consciousness. I'll just say that. And it could also be used to learn about yourself and then empower yourself and grow and learn and, all that stuff. So anyway.
Yeah.
I remembered.
Okay, go ahead, Adam.
It was from a movie, Army of Darkness. Remember that movie? It was like an old movie where it's an old zombie type movie where he summons the dead. It's old. It's like 1992. They actually made a TV series out of it too, which is pretty good. Well, Ash, the main character, is trying to summon the dead, and he's trying to remember the Necromonicon. That was like the name of the book. He's trying to summon it. He's on the mountains, ready to summon it. It's like necktie, noose. He's like, it's definitely an N-word. It's definitely an N-word. And he's like looking through the fourth wall a little bit. He's like, it's definitely an N-word. This is hysterical. I know what they're doing, but
it's freaking hilarious. I saw
that's been floating around. I remember seeing it.
Yes, I saw a little clip of it floating around on Telegram. I just laughed my butt off.
Yeah, it's from that movie.
That's what was that called again?
Army of Darkness.
Okay. That's funny.
It was a good show. It was a good movie. They made a sequel. The TV series is actually pretty good. I haven't watched it in years.
I rarely watch anything at all. But
7-Eleven Lucas says, have you guys checked out Karen B and Just Jack's anti-religious Bible study? I have not, but it sounds familiar though.
I have not.
I haven't followed her since I left Dallas.
What is Karen B focus on?
Well, she used to be co-host with Mark Sargent, and when Mark Sargent's that's drama. Mark Sargent needed a new co-host, for reasons, and Karen B stepped up, and then that made her name. Now she's got her own show. She actually lives like maybe 2 hours from me.
Oh, okay. Cool.
She's very nice in person. I mean, I like her. But, you know.
Very cool. Yeah, I might meet y'all out there, right? Flat.
Y'all.
Y'all, yeah,
I might
y'all. That's
meet
right.
y'all.
Oh,
Y'all
I
know
thought
what
you were
I'm
asking us.
saying.
I thought you were asking if y'all was correct. Did I use that right?
Yeah.
Well, I'm from the Berg, from Pittsburgh, so I say yins.
Yins. Oh my gosh, you and Spoon say yins.
Does she really?
She freaking says yins. I think she's not here, or I'd ask her.
It's a northern thing. Isolated
That's-
northern, because people in
that's
Philadelphia don't say it.
Weird, because she told me one time that they say those. Use it in a sentence.
Are yins going out tonight?
Are Ewan's?
It's
Ewan's?
YENZ.
YEN Yens.
Yeah.
It
Yeah,
is
almost
ruins really fast.
It's like
though.
Ewan's, but shortened.
Pre-internet, Pittsburgh had its own like
Accent.
slang, lingo.
Freaking
Not really an accent. There's not that much of an accent there. It was
Oh,
just
okay.
like, I mean, I guess there was a bit of an accent, a little bit of slang to it, but
There's an accent.
yeah, I think there is.
Okay, not the PA.
PI, no, that's
I don't even know how to do it.
Okay.
That's Philadelphia.
Yeah,
PA.
that's Philly.
Yeah, there is an accent because there's a guy that does his own YouTube channel. He's had it for a couple of years now, called Pittsburgh Dad. Very funny, very accurate. He's pretty big now, but I remember when he was nobody. And yeah, he's very. You want to know what a Pittsburgh accent sounds like, or how they talk? Just watch any Pittsburgh Dad video. They're pretty funny. But that'll sum up my life growing up.
Yin's going to Flattoberfest, says Rick Spiker. I'm assuming.
That's too country. Oh, there's Rick's in the. Hey, what's up, Rick?
Yeah, you didn't see him?
No, I mean I'm not watching chat that much.
I take it he came from your side.
Hashtag Bigfoot the movie. I saw you added that. I need to watch it.
That's funny. JG says she's a Yinzer as well.
Nice.
Yins. I don't know. I don't know.
YNC. YLNZ.
Yeah. We can't read that one. JG.
Yins.
Maybe respell it.
Maybe it's supposed to be it's yins.
It yins.
Oh, she's saying that she uses an I. I've always used an E. That's fine.
Oh, okay.
It don't matter. It's all
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
phonetics.
Zen.
Zen.
That's why he used an E. Or no, it's yen. Never mind.
Oh, well,
Zen, okay. You know Zen Garcia's first name isn't Zen.
yeah, it isn't. What was his real name? I didn't remember his first name.
I can't remember. I remember when I
can't
found
either.
that out though.
Yeah. He renamed himself, which I like. I think Zen is a great
Fine.
thing.
No beef.
I wanted Zen for my life. Zen. Yeah. So anyway, Brandon,
Yes.
you wanted to get into,
Realm?
I mean, we finished the archetype of the hero, right? Did we finish that?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so you wanted to talk about archaic stuff.
You
and
went to
maybe
Slippery
patterns
Rock?
and loops, huh?
No, who's go ahead. Who's JG? You went to Slippery Rock? That's like the stone throws away. I went to Riverside.
Oh,
Dude, my
Interesting.
friend
you guys
that I
probably
was
cross paths.
I know somebody from Slippery Rock.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, a kid I grew up with.
Crazy.
I used to hang out there.
But he left there in like the 80s.
It's a
Is this
dry
PA?
town.
Yeah.
Are we
so,
talking PA?
PI?
PA.
This is more near Pittsburgh though, so
Yeah.
definitely
Sweet.
different accent.
Sorry, I didn't mean to derail you, Brandon.
No,
Oh,
you're
no, no.
fine.
Cut. Caught me off guard.
We're live, so we're looking at the chat, just saying hi to everybody. Hi, Sammy.
Oh, Sammy's in there?
Yeah, he just said hi.
What's up, Sammy? Trying to find the note about
Sammy
it.
Davis Jr. only had one eye.
Oh, right, there we go.
Ooh, good call, Adam.
I just learned that Lady Justice is, she's blindfolded and she's holding the scales.
Mhm.
She's blindfolded because
she's looking with her one eye.
she only cares about truth, so she doesn't care about the hearsay or the
Dude.
actual she doesn't care about that stuff. I only want to hear the truth through here. And that's what I want to discern
Right.
on. And here's what I'm going to weigh it on: yes or no,
Dude.
black and white. I didn't know that.
Dude, I
So I said,
freaking love
Lady
that.
Liberty's blind. Good.
I love that.
Mhm.
That's really cool.
That's from Big Sid.
Oh, wow. Well, I'm a Libra, so what is that? Is that the 11 card, Brandon? The
Yeah, Justice.
Justice.
Yeah, that's a really
Yeah.
good card. Right before the Hanged Man.
One of my cards.
Yeah, and it's 11.
And
That's
it's
half of what today
Ah.
is.
That's right.
So I guess we should talk about the Hermit next.
The strength.
Oh yeah, it's my favorite card.
Ooh,
That's
Hermit
card number 9.
That's my card, man.
Hermit is, yeah.
I'm living the hermit
That's
life.
one of my cards too. 1, 9, 8, 1, 8, 9, and 11 are four of my cards for my the numerology of my name and birth and born day, etc. However you want to say that.
Wow, a lot of 9s.
Yeah.
Yeah, so well, actually, the archaic stuff I was going to talk about, unless you want to talk about the Hermit card. I don't want to cut that off.
Nah, let's go to Archaics.
Okay. So really what that just has to do with is my view on what this realm is really. And the way I was explaining it the other day was you have people that think it's a simulation. And I say that I don't really believe it's a simulation. I think it's more of a spiritual realm, that it's more of a mystery. We can't quite explain it, but I understand why somebody would think it's a simulation. And the reason that I explained was our brains are basically like computers, except they're just more advanced, right? This is what I'm figuring out. So basically what I'm saying is a computer is just an external reflection, something we can make in the physical realm that represents what our brain is. It's like what we're trying to do with all these computers and stuff, right? So if you think about it, if our brains function similar to a computer, I'm not saying they are computers, I'm just saying it's like a mimic of it, then wouldn't all the behavior, think of the collective consciousness, how we're connected on some way, maybe it's some kind of telepathy we don't understand, who knows what it is, maybe it's just micro movements that we make and stuff, that we could pick up off each other and all this stuff, but for some reason we're plugged into the collective consciousness. Wouldn't society's behavior then resemble the behavior of a computer, and things would happen like certain civilizations would start somewhere and they would manifest out in a certain way, and it could kind of be predictable in a way because it's like an algorithm, because our brains work that way, they're just more complex. So in that point of view, you could be somebody like Jason from Archaics, grab all this data from history, and you have all these cycles that repeat and stuff, and you could start to look at it as it's some kind of mathematical realm. But if it's just the way the human brains work, that's how all the history is going to unfold and after a certain way, right? Because that's the only thing we know. We're running off a certain program at the end of the day. And I'm not saying there's no free will or anything because of it, but that's part of it. And the reason we can't exactly put our finger on what it is because we're in it. We're in the experiment. So we can't therefore observe the experiment. We can't step back, no matter how awake we think we are, or conscious or enlightened, we're still plugged into the collective consciousness. No matter how much we learn about how fake it all is, and we're like, no, we're not part of those sheep. Yeah, you are, because you're a human. And what I was saying to Kaylee was, some of us see things more clearly, and there's probably people that see things clearly than us on the show in the world, I'm sure. And people like us or them or whatever, they're like the head of this, we'll call it a dragon, right? Or whatever, or an alligator or a deer. And they're moving forward as a society. And we're turning around some people, and we're talking about the sheep and all these people who are like taking the experiment, the medical serums and all this stuff, right? We're calling them sheep and all this stuff, but they're just like the body, right? So they have to be behind us. And as we move along, they're going to come with us. Now, I'm not saying everyone's going to make this journey. Obviously, people are going to check out of the realm or whatever, just spin off and and they're going to stay, but like you're saying, stay in cognitive dissonance, maybe till they die, maybe whatever. But like you were saying that Jesus told Peter in the Apocrypha, even millennials, or not millennials themselves, but even after millennium or whatever it is, they're finally going to figure it out. So maybe this is just a giant dragon of consciousness or whatever, and we're just more toward the head and we're just moving. And if we turn around and start to talk crap about those people or hate them or eat them, we're like the snake eating its own tail, So we got to learn to be the head to move forward instead of that biting the tail kind of stuff. But that's just the stuff we're working on, on ourselves. But I think, though, the overall what I'm getting at is that's what I think this realm is. That's kind of how I would explain it to somebody who's a simulation theory person, where you're still valid. I just think there might be more to see. And I think it's just an experience we can't explain. It's a mystery. And because we're in it, there's no way. It's kind of like saying you can understand the point of view of God, like you're not a God. Maybe we are consciousness, we're fractions of God, but we're not in that state where we could see the whole plan, like however thousands, whatever. So because of that, with our limited, we only live 80, 90, 120 years, whatever it is. We can only grasp what makes sense to us so much. It reminds me a lot of when Arjuna asked Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita to see his full form. He just was like, that's, I think, what would happen if we saw what this really was. We'd be like, dude, put me back. I can't handle it. Something like that. So
Could it be?
Could
that
it
makes
be?
a lot of sense.
That's what
right?
James True talks about when your Amy opens up too much. And I go, throttle it back, and it, pumps some dopamine back. You need to throttle back down because it's too much.
Yeah, exactly. But that's what when I say realm theory, it's a spiritual realm. That's kind of what I mean. That's part of it. So, yeah.
Yeah,
That's really
totally.
good. Yeah, it's a good concept of you can't step out and observe it. Unless you can observe it, then it's it's not measurable.
Right.
It's not science.
Do you have any evidence to support that? As Adam used to say to me.
And you know what I like about archaics?
Yeah, when I was in that mindset.
Just kidding.
He even archaics even admits that it might not be a simulation. That's just his best guess. Basically, he's like open to all things. So it's not like we're going after him or anything. I love his work, definitely. But that would be my argument or whatever, or piece of information or question that I would ask a simulation theorist. Like, what do you think about that idea? And I'm sure they'd at least have to consider if they're being honest with themselves, because if the brain works like a computer, then what do you think is going to happen?
Yeah, like.
And that's not to say that there's not resets or anything that happens. I'm not trying to discount that. I think that could be built into the realm as well. Maybe there's some kind of reset if you're too far in the negative, and maybe if things happen, they need these people that are still vibrating in fear to go away to like progress to the next, and then those souls get born into the families of the people who have less fear, so they grew up without trauma and with less trauma anyway, and it's a little less trauma than last time, and then it just continues or whatever it is, so yeah, I'm pretty sure something's going to happen on 2040 and all those days. Again, I'm not too worried about it, but so I'm still in that camp. I just think that it doesn't mean it has to be that we're in some kind of computer simulation. Everything else he's saying could be right. I mean, we can even maybe go on to be our angel selves, or who knows, and maybe that's what he means by when he says there's other avatars waiting for us. That's just his way to describe it, like we talk about with allegory in the Bible and stuff like that. That's
right.
Yeah, that's
it's interesting
for him.
Go ahead, Sharon.
Well, I was just going to bring in the law of one and how.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah.
See, go ahead. Yeah. You speak.
No, I was going to say, I'm surprised he hasn't dove into it. Like, he's heard about it. People brought it up to him, but he's never dived into it.
Had a chance.
But everything he brings up,
email about it.
He's on par with that. Like, he just doesn't know it. I think if he looked at that, I think more would resonate with him. I know when I read it, well, listen to it. Sorry, I did not read it. It explained a lot. So, it's the same idea. The Bible explains the same law of one stuff too. The reincarnation, you'll be born again. Same ideas.
Yeah, totally.
By the way, hi Philip. I was thinking about you yesterday. I saw you're in chat. I had a lovely memory yesterday while I was in my workshop. wig splat, and I was just sitting there, and I had a nice warm memory of when you came in and you gave me a big hug, and you just like, I love you, man. And I gave you a hug back. I'm like, thanks, man. I needed that. Just that was a pure moment, and thanks. I'm just so glad to have you here.
What day was that, Adam?
That was when we went on our little journey trip.
Right, but like where
It was during it.
yeah, so like maybe the like Saturday morning maybe or something?
No, it was Friday night. It was Friday
Oh.
evening at some point.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was in the other
Oh,
room
that's
thinking, because
right.
I had my family heavy on my mind,
Yeah.
and it was pulling me away from, what you guys are in. And
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm just gonna follow this.
I
And
forgot
so
about
it took
that.
me to a nice conscious stream where it really just, it was personal and it was good. And he came in and said, everything okay? I love you. I'm just like,
Oh, bro.
so it was just nice.
That's sweet.
Anyhow,
Shout
I have
out
a
to
picture
Wig
of him.
Splat.
Yeah, I have a picture I was looking at recently. It's one of my favorite pictures from the trip. It's like me and him near the grill. Me and Philip near the grill. Yeah.
nice.
And
I
Molly's in
took
too.
it.
Yeah. Photo credit to Sharon.
And you were just thinking about Philip because you saw that.
Oh, that was
picture.
it. Yeah, no, I saw him in chat. I was thinking about him yesterday, so I manifested him being here. I'm taking claim for
He said you're his ninja.
it. My ninja.
Yeah.
That's the only
that's-
proper N word is ninja.
That's exactly. I was gonna say that's a good way to say the N word.
I played for Kate late one night. Owen's random song riffed. The N word for neighbor. He's like, the only N word I know is neighbor. But if you're thinking of this other word, then that works too. But it was about neighbor. And he's like, I don't want. Anyhow, it's funny. Kate was
I don't
just in
want to
I
tears.
N-word
don't
for
know
neighbor
that
or
one.
whatever.
Maybe I have watched it and I forgot.
No one edited or cut it. It was just a live stream thing. I had to find it, and I'll dig it up. It's funny. Someone needs to
Okay.
cut it out.
Yeah, find it. Send it over.
Because then he immediately went. He's on this long rift. Because then he immediately went on a rift about, this is inappropriate, how his dick was so big that when he goes to the airport, he has to check it in a separate baggage. And he wrote a song about it.
Oh, Jesus.
It's funny. So he was all over the place.
Yeah. And people hate him. It's so funny. It's like, really?
No, yeah.
Well, I
Yeah.
think they just love him.
I think they just spiral because there's a wound that needs to be healed.
I think Shaq listens to him, or at least saw that clip of him talking about him.
That's hilarious.
I
Because then
think
he
that clip-
changed his profile pic or what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really think it
lots of
got
head
to him.
nods.
That's hilarious.
He says many times, you'd be surprised at certain people that listen to me that I can't ever tell you who, but like he openly says Vince Vaughn does, because I guess they're still
Aw.
buddies.
Yeah. I always thought Vince Vaughn was freaking hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Faux
his
shizzle.
movies are funny. But
Sorry, I didn't mean to derail you from your realm,
no.
Brandon, because that was just really good. Like,
No, I was pretty much done.
Keep
I mean,
going. Well,
well,
okay. So I thought you were
okay, so I think the way that Archaics, like I was saying, breaks it down, it fully fits inside my paradigm. It's just a different level, I guess, or a different understanding of what it could be. And I think it's more of an internal thing. I think we kind of fool ourselves. We're like energy, because if you think about, if you zoom in down to everything at its smallest level, it's just a field of things going around. So I think there's a way that we were able to, with a certain realm, maybe our amygdala, a certain viewpoint or view of this, something in our brain or whatever it is, tricks us into thinking this is a physical experience. And I think we're all having the shared dream, but it's internally on the inside. I know that it's kind of hard to grasp or might not make sense, but
yeah.
I don't think we're looking at things outside. Like the Matrix here is a perfect analogy. I don't think we're in some kind of tub of slime somewhere. But what I mean is, I think it is kind of all going on in our head, like, and to some certain degree. And we are energy. And I explained this before. Imagine electricity moving even through a house or something, it gets to different polarities or densities or whatever. Maybe a house is a bad experience. Just think of energy and time moving, like even through an 8, right? A figure 8. maybe when it crosses here and it hits like it crosses a wire, it just has some kind of different experience. And then it crosses back over, loops around, then it goes back to this experience. That's literally what we can be. And we just have this idea. I feel like I'm about to get raptured out of this place. I'm dishing too much gravy.
Uh-oh.
I feel like we're just going through some kind of energetic energy experience. We just can't understand it. We're locked in these physical bodies, but not in a bad way. I think we are here because when we're in this state, we have free will. We can make decisions. We could do whatever we want or not want or whatever it is. And I think that experience is necessary for the other realm. As you go through whatever we learn here, we could take it as we're going around and maybe even share it with everybody. And we come back through, it's a better experience or whatever. And, it's like the spiraling, you could probably spiral up or down, but I feel like that's closer what it is. And again, it's a mystery to me. I'm not going to try to like study it and figure it out. But this is what I've seen, like through symbolism. I think it's communicated something like this. And just through all this knowledge I've gotten, even from the New Age and like, stuff like the Bhagavad Gita, Hinduism, Buddhism, all these ideas, if I'm looking at it, not literally, but trying to get the allegory out of it, I think it all points to that, that energy thing. So
yeah, and what you were saying earlier reminds me of the trip we went on Friday night of our experience. Do you guys remember when I was getting into the experience and I was like, I could see.
We remember.
It's like 9/11. How are you going to forget? Come on.
Yeah. I have a great analogy for this, but go ahead.
How dare you forget? Yeah, but I started to see like like between me and like Adam, or between me and the wall of, the other side of the room, there was stuff. It wasn't like the air we see is like, we don't see anything. But when I was on this experience, there was, you're getting goosebumps?
Yeah.
There was stuff that I was seeing in the quote air. So I was seeing the ether and the fabric, dare I say, of this realm. It was mind-boggling.
Yeah. That happens to me when I come out of a high state like that.
Okay.
The first thing that I notice when I'm actually coming back into this vision of what we're all agreeing that we're seeing here today was three-dimensional objects. First thing I notice is like, oh my gosh, there's just so many things. There's so many things here. There's just things.
Stuff.
And so when I saw you going into that, I'm like, I know where she's at. And I could see that. I know Brandon did too. And then the next day I made it, it reminded me of like, this is like your first time going into a new dimensional shopping mall. And you're like, oh my gosh, what's going on? Like you're licking the mat of the welcome mat as soon as you go in. Cause you're like, this is just interesting. And meanwhile, Brandon and I are like shopping on aisle 5. Like, yeah, we've been here before. And so I was just kind of like seeing you go through it was it was good just to kind of like, bring it all back and home. And I'm so glad you had that experience. But what we're talking about now kind of ties back into the first time you guys had me on episode 3, when I talked about using your pineal gland and how
the 3D reality stuff that we were talking about. Oh my God. Yeah.
Keep going. So like when you watch 3D movies, you can watch 3D movies without I won't highlight everything, but you can go watch the thing. You can watch 3D movies without the glasses. You have to trick your eye to focus on a specific way. And it had to be picture on the left and picture on the right. This eye focuses on this side, this eye focuses on this side.
Oh yeah.
And
you
then
can do that with the little pictures too, right?
Yeah. The pictures that they had in the 1800s,
but
they had that. Yeah. And we're told, no, you need a special device to put the picture in. So then you can look at it and then you can see the 3D. No, I think that they viewed the world differently. And I think that's how pictures were taken, because I think that's how they saw reality. This eye's focused over here, this eye's focused over here, and my third eye, it creates an imaginary photo. So if you're having a photo with a picture left and picture right, picture A, picture B, and you stare at it, it's kind of like one of those magic eye tricks you can stare at. Your mind's eye focuses and takes this image and focuses together and creates a new one. You see that, and it has a 3-dimensional look. Well, it's not there. but you're clearly looking at it. So take that same concept and extract it to what Brandon's saying and your experience and our experiences of, what is it that we're still, Lady Justice, right? We remove these eyes, and how are we actually supposed to be perceiving this reality? And I think that's part of this awakening, is that these people didn't use these eyes except for more than just, I'm moving this body through here and here, but this is how I'm really, am I getting across what I'm trying to say?
Oh yeah.
Totally.
Yeah, but I like your thought of the moving, flowing energy, because it reminds me of I can't remember which bear it is that started talking about the angles of sorrows, and how, because you use house at the very beginning. The first thing you said about the moving through a house, I'm thinking, well, it can't because of the angles of sorrow. And then one of the bears now, who is it? He builds those domes.
Chris Gardner.
Gardner, yeah, he's the one that builds those domes, and he says when his clients walk in, he's like, he can decide if the energy is going to flow left to right or right to left based on what you want. As soon as you walk in, you get almost kind of disoriented,
okay.
Right? Because you're like, what's going on? You can feel something's changed because the energy's flowing, right? You can actually feel that. So I think these box houses stop that. It's really good for sending in bombarding wavelengths. But I think the next little house I want, I would like to either contract him or build something that's very hobbity and round.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I met him at the Bear Fest too.
He spoke, didn't he?
He spoke. Yeah. His talk was amazing. Lots of stuff there.
And he was just on Owen too.
Yeah, and that one is so good.
Adam?
No.
Oh,
after the event?
Yes, I meant to tell you, Adam. I meant to send you a message to tell you to watch that one.
They're talking about lost Natsu technology.
Yes.
Nice.
Yes.
Nice.
And levitation is one of the topics that they go into.
Grabbing a book.
And I think he was even talking about the same concept I was before with the energy. When you look at we're all just energy, I think he might have been.
Yes. Yes. Adam, I can send it to you. Yeah, so no worries. I'll send it to you.
Yeah, there's another book I was just looking for. I thought I had it sitting here where somebody, I don't want to name the names because maybe they do, maybe they don't. I don't think it matters, but you'll know who I'm talking about. Gave me a book when we went on our little quest.
Oh, yes.
And that book.
Is he sarcastic?
He is very sarcastic.
Okay.
Yes, he happens to be that way.
Yeah. And he gave me this book, which I need to finish it up, but it's all about that technology, and it's fascinating, all about the hovering technology, and also has we'll just say map or course if you have a submarine that you could navigate through, caverns of an ice wall if you had access to a submarine.
Sarcastic warlocks in the chat. You just got in here.
Oh, did he really? See, I'm manifesting everybody today. Who else?
Dude.
Who else?
Just so you know, I said sarcastic, so I think I manifested him. No,
you did. Okay. You did say.
I think it was a group effort that when two or more gathered in my name. We all thought about him, and he popped in here. We were just talking about you, sarcastic.
I'll watch it. I'll watch that show. I didn't watch much of Big B this week.
Adam was just saying how you gave him a book about some stuff allegedly, but anyway,
maybe.
Yeah.
That's
and how
cool.
It's tied to the episode, that one episode that was in your chat room. He knows.
Oh yeah, that's right. The Owen with Topher Gardner. There we go. Yeah. That was crazy.
I truly am a sarcastic warlock.
Yeah, he really is. I'm like, was he sarcastic? And then boom, he appeared. See, and I'm a wizard. See, that's what happens, guys.
Right.
I am now in your midst.
I'm a wizard, allegedly.
It's blue. I can't find. I'm sorry. I'm talking to him.
Brandolph the Gray.
Brandolph the Gray.
Oh, speaking of which, did you want to talk about that kind of stuff? The whole.
What? Go ahead.
Or do you want to talk about the realm?
No, I'm done with the realm.
I'm done with it.
Okay. Just like
we're done
here about it.
We're over, Sharon.
For now.
We're done.
If somebody has more, listen, if somebody has more,
I'm over, Sharon. I'm just done with it.
If you have questions about what we said, please, we were refuting that it's a simulation, but saying that it still fits inside the paradigm. sarcastic. You got to go back and watch that. Some gravy I labeled. I thought I was about to get raptured, and I didn't mean like rapture. I meant more like I was just about to like to the next realm because of my level of understanding or something. But anyway, yeah.
That's the thing about enlightenment. Once you realize you're enlightened, you're no longer enlightened.
Yeah.
You were going there, but then you realized it and you said something and like, oh, nope, not today.
What does the Tao say? The man who achieves enlightenment realizes he's an ordinary man, and the holy man, or no, what's he say? The ordinary man. I'm gonna have to look it up.
Yeah.
Sharon, take it away. Give me
The Tao is a good book.
I bet Sarcastic knows it.
Yeah. But so what do you guys think? Are we we were, we passed the 2-hour mark, so
We should end in exactly
33. I'm just kidding.
9 hours and 11 minutes.
Yeah. Well, it's 9:05 our time. So
We should end at 9:11 your time. Ooh.
just saying. We're almost there.
We sure are.
I remember when the sage attains enlightenment.
Did you find it? Speedy Lee is in. Hello, Speedy Lee. Welcome, Cass.
Yeah.
Speedy Lee, you can check out, but you can never leave. Hotel California. What's his name? Curtis R. Kallenbach really breaks Hotel California down to some of the things I talked about in the last episode about.
It's 6:06 here.
Oh.
Go ahead.
Gog and Magog. 6GOG.
No.
Hotel California had to do with the birth of a man and the cutting of the umbilical cord and the separation of the placenta and the child. It's kind of like when I won't break that down. I'm just saying he goes into it and he ties in how the Hotel California is about that. And he also brings in the Library of Congress. You can check out any book you want there. And there's some books there that are like, hush, hush. Right. Shh, one eye. But you can't leave with them. You can check out, but you can't leave. So there's a lot of that going around. That song has more to do than just a hotel. Anyhow, she brought that up. I just wanted to add to it.
Welcome to the Hotel California.
Oh.
That's the song I'll be playing at my dad's funeral.
That's the song that you're going to play?
He's not dead. I'm just saying,
I know, but
that's his favorite song. That's his favorite
okay.
song, of
Okay.
all time. So I'm like, all right.
You're so funny.
I'll play it for you.
At
We get
his
his eulogy. Yeah, sure will.
celebration of life.
Yeah, exactly.
When the ordinary man attains enlightenment, he becomes a sage. When a sage attains enlightenment, he becomes an ordinary man.
It's a cycle.
Yeah. Well, you also, when you're a sage and then you attain enlightenment, you realize everyone's the same. Yeah.
Chris says, I had enlightenment, but there it went. Yeah, you guys get it.
QSB.
What up?
This is good, guys.
Of us.
I enjoyed hanging out with you
Just
guys.
the 3 of us.
Yeah, this was awesome. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah,
Dude.
that's sweet.
Thanks everybody for hanging out in the chat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome to be live. It was really fun. I like this. I like the setup. Maybe we'll just do lives from now on forevermore.
Let's do it.
Could it be?
Yeah, I don't see why not. Unless somebody can't record at a certain hour, then we could still do both, We could have pre-recorded, and then when people can go live at night at like a time we want to broadcast, we'll do it.
We can do it, man.
Yeah.
I love it. So it might not just be Thursdays then,
Yeah.
Could be whenever.
Whenever we feel like
we
recording.
liked our Thursdays.
And this means Sharon and I could go live whenever we want to too. We don't even need a guest. No offense, but I'm just saying.
Philip said I just got to the realm last Thursday. That's funny, man. That goes back to at Warlock's house.
Oh, okay. Inside joke. Got it. Sweet.
I arrived precisely when I meant to. Yep.
Yes. So,
The wizard is never late. He merely relies on him.
You said you're listening to the Hobbit audio now.
Yeah.
Is it just as good as the Fellowship of the Rings and them?
No, it's not that good.
Because
but
those were epic.
yeah, those were epic. But this is, the story itself is so good. So just listen. The guy's
Not
pretty
like a
good at
live
it.
action.
Yeah. It's,
Man,
yeah.
I enjoyed that.
dang it.
I'm right at the Smaug part. I'm right at the part where Bilbo's talking to the dragon.
Yahweh. Yeah.
So good.
Oh, oops.
Is that a spoiler alert? Is that a what do you call it when you're gonna talk about it on the next
Teaser?
episode? Is that a teaser, Adam? I'm just kidding.
Ooh.
We're gonna have you on again pretty soon.
Oh, that's fine. I like chatting with you guys. It's fun. Pick a topic.
Yeah.
We still need to do dreams.
Yes. We
What was the
definitely-
other topic, Sharon?
The other topic was, dare I say,
Yeah.
twin flames.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
So
we
Brandon's
got
like,
a lot of
yeah,
stuff
it's
going.
fine.
Subscribe, follow us, morelawsmoreproblems.com. Click on the Over Sharon tab. You could support us, but the best way financially, but the best way to support us is to just be here every time we do a stream. Every time, no, whenever you can, and participate in the chat, leave a comment, like, subscribe, and then hit the bell, because then when we randomly go live, you'll know it. All right, guys, it's 9/11. So
it is 9/11. Oh my God.
hey, Sharon, if you're not over Sharon,
You're totally not Karen.
so keep over Sharon. Bye, guys.
Farewell, Building 7.
Thanks, Adam. Oh, I don't want to end the meeting. I want to stop the live. That's funny.